We are live here on episode 4 of Uncensored Live
Finally.
with Shaun Yurkaron. Well, wrong way there. Shaun Yurkaron, Lindsey Beckham, Clay Edwards. Better late than never. But hey, we said we were going to do this Sunday through Thursday. By dang, we are honoring our commitment. And hey, we don't get paid to do this, so please accept our apologies or show us a little grace when we don't get online on time.
I just want to let everybody out there know it's not the girl holding it up.
It's not.
Yeah. It's the two men.
Prompt.
Yeah, I was going to walk the dog and do other things. I don't know. Sometimes it takes a little longer. We can do. So,
well, we are here, man. We're excited about it, and look, I've been chomping at the bit, as Jameson Haygood would say, to do 2 hours of live radio or online streaming. I don't know that we'll get 2 hours tonight, but good hour and a half, I'm sure. And I didn't do my radio show this morning. I got up and I was exhausted. Like this sty in my eye is exhausting.
The sty in my eye. That rhymes. Poet didn't know it.
In my eye. There's a song I've had stuck in my head that I have remodified to be sty in my eye.
Is that the Alan Parsons project?
Or is it that goofy ass ghetto version of the Wheels on the Bus Go Round, that Waka Flocka?
Oh yeah,
wheels on the bus go round and round, round. Like every rap song is really just a nursery rhyme, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
And it's like sty in my eye, sty in my eye. Anyway,
sty in my.
You know who is a rapper? Is Vernon Hartley's.
Yeah, I'll get that ready here.
She truly is some kind of rapper.
I'm so glad that y'all brought that up, because I'm going to do a video about that when we get off here to go to load up to my YouTube channel in the morning, and I'll probably be a little more vulgar than you two are willing to be. And then Lindsey's willing to be. Shaun, I know Shaun has no problem being vulgar.
That's for sure.
That's not a knock or anything. It's just Shaun's never met an F word he didn't like.
That's for sure. It's an adjective, a verb, a noun.
It's everything you want it to be. I gotta adjust. One thing I learned is when you do cameras, you want little to no space above your head.
Please tell Shaun that. He doesn't understand.
I know. It's always, notice that it'll always be something wrong I'm doing. I just want to make that for the record.
I took a one-day photography course years and years ago when I had the nightclubs, and the thing that they taught me was no space above the head when you're framing up your shot, and video is kind of the same way.
It's only when you do them in the office, and it's like all books.
Yeah. Well, that's because I do it for the iPad. It's a little different.
Yeah, the selfie he sent me to do the promo for this, when I asked y'all to send me pictures, I noticed they had like
the books
above him. It's like, we know you're smart, Shaun. You don't have to put all your books in every damn.
Well, I mean, he doesn't let you forget it.
Yeah. I do have an order of stuff, but I figured we just go with there's two big stories today, and one it came in this afternoon was the shootout, which you made a video about, and as well as the Mississippi Today article, I think, about the Goon Squad. So
I have not had a chance to even look at that today, and I had lunch with our friend.
Yeah,
that's into that, and I just completely haven't had a chance to sit down and look at any of that stuff. But so let's start with the Jackson thing.
That's what I have it. That's what I got pulled up.
Because I want to show y'all a comment that I just saw on my Instagram where, I made a reel of it too. And let me see if I can see it here. I made a reel about it. And this guy, here it is. I'm going to share, and nobody may be able to see it, but I at least just want to have verifiable fact. Shaun, you mind if I hijack?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll cut it out. All right, go ahead.
I'm sending this over.
All right, got it. Is
it there? All right.
Yep.
Okay, y'all can't really see it, but see where my cursor is right here, spinning around in circles?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can see my cursor on the screen.
Wait, no, I guess not. I'm looking at this. That's wrong. Can you see my cursor?
No. Okay. So good. At least we can't see cursors.
Okay, no, we know.
So if y'all look on the if y'all get time, the Save JXN Instagram, it's my most recent reel. There's a comment from a guy named Respect the Boss. And he says, I wish they would have had real coverage on the original terrorizers. The KKK was causing hell, killing babies, kids, and all. And I obviously don't support the KKK. I mean, a bunch of crazy white Democrats doing white Democrat stuff. I am completely in agreement that the KKK is bad and they should be exposed and they should be relished to the trash bin of history, as they have been, to the best of my knowledge. And as I'll go to my grave telling you, I've never once knowingly seen a Klansman in real life. I'm not saying I haven't been in the room with an undercover Klansman or anything like that. I'm just saying that I've never seen a Klansman in my life. But this is my problem with a lot of people from the urban community, is the deflecting back to 50 to 100 years ago. Anytime we point out an issue that's going on today in the urban community or any other community, but you don't necessarily get the whataboutism from other communities. It's strictly just and I know y'all aren't as comfortable talking about the race stuff. I don't mind saying it because I think there's a big difference in being a realist and a racist, and just realistically bringing up the fact that there's a lot of violence in the Black community, especially the one in Jackson, Mississippi, close to where we live or where we live. And it's just very disingenuous and disheartening when you can't say, yeah, man, that's really sad. We need to get a hold of this culture rot. But no, let's go back to 50 to 100 years ago when the Klan was terrorizing people and bring that up instead of acknowledging the problem in front of us today.
They like to call us the Ku Klux Karens over at Moms for Liberty. That's one of their nicknames for us anyway.
Well, as you know, I'm Ku Klux Clay.
I heard that today. I said, welcome to the club.
I kind of like Clay Klux Klan.
There you go. The Southern Poverty Law Center put us on the hate map, and it's like our picture right next to the Ku Klux Klan. Come on now.
Look, it's a badge of honor, to be called a terror group by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yes, it is.
I never want to be acknowledged as a ally of the Southern Poverty Law Center because they are the racist. They are the
terrorists,
literal Nazis. So
they're the worst.
One day I strive to be on the terror list of the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Look, I've done something Clay hasn't done yet.
Yes.
Well, actually, on that same vein, I'll show you I've told Clay about this, and I may have told Lindsey. There's this, I don't think I can get this. Let me see if I can get this any bigger. It's not going to get any bigger. Anyway, I'll go to the Wikipedia. So there's something, they actually came up with a term for this. It's called
Viagra, Shaun.
What now?
Give it a Viagra.
Give it a Viagra?
You said you need to make it bigger.
Oh, make it bigger, right? Yeah, no,
that's what she said.
So there's something came up with this term about using the term Nazis, and Ku Klux Klan, I think, is similar to that, because we're talking about two groups that are like some of the worst groups in human history. And
in modern history, since we've had television.
Yeah, right. I guess you'd say the last 100 years or so, right? Yeah. And so Godwin's law is an internet adage asserting as an online discussion grows longer, the probability of a comparison involving Nazis or Hitler approaches one. The law's creator, Mike Godwin, maintains these comparisons often trivialize the Holocaust. So essentially what it's saying is that the more and more you get into an online debate about anything, Nazis will be thrown out no matter what, and this is even before Trump and all this stuff, that because when he came up with this, it's like somebody will use the Nazi analogy.
Yeah, you told me about this before and I never heard it. And it is the first thing I thought about when Grok went full Nazi on us the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, there we go. Shaun nailed this. I don't even know if you had thought about put the comparison together yet.
I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, that's a good point.
I was like, there we go. And it's just, it drives the point home that that's the direction that the AI went, is because so many conversations online inevitably draw to the conclusion of Nazi, that AI, when given the ability to draw its inspiration from everything, not just predetermined validated sources or sites or whatnot, it goes to Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, because the Nazis have, even in just not in just discussions, but even in terms of video games that we play or just they're always the standard bad guy, which, I mean, they are bad guys, but they're used so much culturally in everything. I think people actually are unfamiliar with what specifically the Nazis did.
But I've been told that there's good Nazis right now over in Ukraine.
Oh, there's good Nazis. Okay.
Good Nazis?
Yeah, the something battalion over there. That I've been told that those are the good Nazis. That we got to look the other way. We got to support Ukraine, even though they have Nazis in their ranks. The Azov battalion.
Oh, days off. That's right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, that's what I thought that the Russians were saying. I don't know whether they exist or not, but I mean, I know that the Russians were saying that.
I don't even know what y'all are talking about. Y'all lost me.
But I mean, and that's an interesting. I'm going to have to go down that rabbit hole. But the Trump administration has kind of changed course on that now, and
they're wanting to send weapons.
They're sending weapons down to Ukraine.
And then that didn't really get publicized much in the mainstream media because everybody's been talking about Epstein. So it's kind of like that kind of just skated right on past.
Well, I mean, yeah, except for that clip, about Trump saying, Putin's basically acting like a son of a bitch or whatever. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something similar to that. So, but let me go to that. So what Clay was, when you brought up the Instagram, we were talking about this issue that's kind of just went viral today, this video, which is kind of, Clay, it reminded me of that one that we played, a year ago over there by Atkins and Beasley Road with a shootout that's infamous around here.
I just know these guys need two gun tactical. They need to learn how to shoot because.
Well, look, I've been saying for years that they need to put marksmanship classes in JPS. I mean pre-high school, by 8th grade at the latest, because that's about the time that the culture rot completely sets in, and the future astronaut engineers and possibly even astronaut or two in every group start shooting randomly at shit, and they never hit the intended target. They always end up hitting good guys, or sometimes they get lucky and hit a bad guy that just happened to be getting gas too. Somebody else's op. And I love that they call each other. We saw our ops. But yeah, they need to get
more. Shoot that many bullets and not hit anybody. Ugh, I don't. I mean, thank God, but that's bad. I mean,
and I don't know if y'all saw it, but when you hit play here, if on the road, the top right of the screen there's going to be somebody that just randomly walks up and gets behind the vehicle, and they don't shoot at him. So was this a complete stranger that just happened to be out walking in the midst of all this gun battle and didn't get shot, or was this somebody that rolled up on them and they ran the other way? I couldn't quite figure it out because the camera, knocks off at the edge of the driveway.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Just for some context of this occurred in the Brook Hollow subdivision around 4:00 yesterday, which is Brook Hollow is kind of what South Jackson towards Raymond. Is that right, Clay? I think isn't that where Brook Hollow is? Yeah,
it's on the corner of Highway 18 and Raymond Road.
Yeah,
down from like Hillcrest and Sidewell Road and all that stuff. If you're heading west on 18, Hines is right there. Ooh. I'm reloading. So I want to address something real quick before we go any further. A commenter said, Alan, and we'll get the comments pulled up on the screen in a minute. Alan said, the stupidity in throwing around these KKK acronyms. Alan, let me clear that up real quick. When I was talking about the Ku Klux Klan stuff, that's a knock at some people that don't. Some of my ops that have been calling me Ku Klux Clay or Clay Klux Klan or some nonsense like that. So
question I got to ask Clay and for
something stupid they had said.
Gun people in the chat. What problem for a second there? We're back in. Everything good?
Yeah, we're good.
Can you hear us, Clay?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Or you're stuck?
We're good on my end.
I don't know. We got stuck.
My internet's fine.
Okay, we're good now. Sorry, we had a connection issue there for a minute. Trying to get the
what were you saying about KKK?
A commenter here, Alan, had said the stupidity in throwing around these KKK acronyms, LOL, and I was like, well, I was trolling a troll with that, Alan. In case you know what, I hope most people know, but there's some people I don't like or that don't like me more so that call me Ku Klux Clay. So I was referencing an inside joke, so to say. Are y'all good? Y'all good?
We're having some connections issue or something here in here. Let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be something with y'all's internet, I'm guessing, because I'm 100 on my end.
We're trying to pull up the chat.
In and out for us.
Yeah, I mean, let it work itself out, because I think
you need the ether. Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah, go grab that if you
Okay.
can. All right.
All right, well, I'm going to keep talking while y'all work your way through this. Shaun, if y'all want to, you can pull your volume down if you need to. And I will address some of these comments over here. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. While they work through their internet problems over there, give me a thumbs up in the comments if everything is good on y'all's end. If any y'all have any freezing up or anything, and we'll work through this. And let's see here. Yeah, let me reply to them. Pull your volume down. All right. Everybody's giving me a thumbs up, so we seem to be good. Yeah, they're having an internet connection problem over there. So I will entertain y'all. I will dance for y'all until they get situated here. It looks like they're having an Ethernet issue, according to a text I just got from them. So all good in the hood, except the internet in the hood. Yeah, I'll circle back to the video. So I made a video about that. You had a couple teens that decided to show their ass and have a shootout over in Brook Hollow yesterday around 4:00 in the afternoon. They fired off over 100 rounds and managed to somehow not shoot anybody. I mean, thank God. I'm not mad that they didn't shoot anybody. Well, I guess I wouldn't be disappointed had they. And I mean, each other, not good guys, not innocent people. But if a couple of these rocket scientists, astronauts, engineers, future, of course, had shot one another, we would all be better off for it. Anybody who thinks differently is lying. So anyway, the chief of police came out and said that they called Brook Hollow a quiet, beautiful neighborhood. Bro, I grew up in not too far from there. I got my driver's license in 1992. And we knew in 1992 to stay the hell out of Brook Hollow. That was 30-something years ago.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
You're back. Okay. Yeah. We had to plug in the Ethernet cable, so that worked.
Don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just discussing the fact that the chief of police said Brook Hollow was a quiet, beautiful neighborhood.
Oh, I noticed that too.
I got my driver's license in 1992. Ain't nothing been quiet or beautiful about Brook Hollow. And since then, we knew to stay the hell out of Brook Hollow back then. You could kind of go in the front of it a little bit off the Sidewell Road entrance, but if you went in that back entrance off 18 and got off into the guts of it, you did not want to be there. No, ma'am, no, sir.
There's something going on when we hit there's something going on when we hit the comment that's kicking us off. I don't know what.
Do we need to restart? I don't know.
It's something. Yeah, when I hit the comments, and now it's not doing that.
Well, let's not reboot if we can.
Okay. All right.
We have to start completely over.
Okay, gotcha. Oh. Man, why is it not connecting the camera now?
Your camera's connected. Well, one of
them
is.
Okay. I got
yours
it.
is.
It kicked Lindsay off for a second. All right, there we go.
All right.
Now we're in the 7. All right. Cool.
So,
there's something when I hit the comments to show them up on the screen that it's kicking, it's booting it out. Restream is. That seems to be the problem.
Can you see there where it shows you your internet strength on the restream? Like above my photo in the corner, my little cube, I've got full green signal. Can you see on yours? It should be in about the same place.
It's we're talking about like what green, like the on the right hand side.
Yeah, like the little green. You like your network connection, the little green, like cell phone signal, internet connection signal.
It's like on my computer.
Yeah, well, yeah, on the restream screen.
Oh, I don't see it on the restream screen. I guess I'm missing that, where that is.
If you look over there by where you pull me and other videos on and off the screen.
Yeah, it's got you in green, me in green. Right, I see that.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see. Well, yeah.
My network connection is 1010 over here on my end. What does yours say?
It's not saying. I don't think.
You can't kind of hover the cursor over the little green, like cell phone signal looking thing over your photo.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Mine's not doing that. I'm over the photo and everything, but it's just.
Well, let's rock and roll like we are. We don't have to get the comments on the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll try it again maybe in a second. We'll see what happens. But
all right, before we start losing folks here.
Yeah. Sure.
So
sorry, people.
All good in the hood. All good in the hood. So we're talking about the Brook Hollow thing. I just think it's emblematic of Jackson. New mayor, same shit.
Yeah. When you mentioned about Brook Hollow being like, I remember when I was at the DA's office in 2008, it was pretty known as a pretty bad area right there. That's my infamous case where those guys came in and killed those couple's dog. You know, they broke into like 10 houses in Brook Hollow. I mean, he was having crime problems, 17 years ago for sure. So, and you're saying in the 90s it was just as bad. I mean, so I don't know what I thought that too when I read that. He said beautiful neighborhood, and I was like, okay. I don't know about that.
It's nice and quiet. I'm like, these people live. You got at least two sets of people that live in this neighborhood having a shootout.
Yeah,
not so nice and quiet.
Yeah, I'm guessing that this isn't this isn't some random thing. As a matter of fact, I know it's not a random thing.
Didn't look random with the okay. Now, before I call it a machine gun, I'm sure our gun folks can tell us what kind of gun was that, Clay? Do you know?
It looked like a short barrel pistol style AR,
assault rifle. I'm kidding.
Well, there's so many people that think AR stands for assault rifle.
Oh, I did think that. Does it not?
No. It's just like that's just like the model number.
Oh, okay. Well, I had no idea. Learned something new.
Yeah, that's assault rifle is something that Democrats made up to make a.
They make up a lot of stuff.
Make a gun sound more dangerous than it is.
Does So where would you buy one of those that he's got? Can you just buy that at a gun store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You just get, you can get an AR, short barrel AR anywhere. That's ARs.
It's just a semi-automatic rifle or pistol or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's all. It's semi-automatic rifle and it's black, so it's an assault rifle.
It just looks badass, I guess, is what it is.
That's it, man. It's no different. If that had a wood grip on it or whatever, shoulder thing. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. The back end of the
stock.
Never mind. I shouldn't talk in this conversation.
Anyway, I know I sound like, to own as many guns as I do, I sound like an idiot. I always say I love guns, but I don't consider myself a gun guy.
Well, you're not a hunter. I think a lot of people that are hunters know a lot.
Yeah,
guns, right?
I mean, I was in the Marines and I don't know shit about guns. I'll be honest with you. Just the one.
If it was, I guess what I'm trying to say, if it was a hunting style rifle, nobody would say a word about these things. If it was the same 22 or 223 hunting style rifle, nobody would say a word. But it's black and it's edgy and aggressive looking, so it's more dangerous somehow. Like it's just the same bullets. It does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a heck of a lot of bullets that were shot.
We had no less than 4 in that one driveway shooting across the street, and I'm guessing at minimum there's one person shooting at them. I'm guessing more than that. I guess one person didn't go do that by themselves.
Was this targeted? Were they like shooting at someone specific? Do we know that?
I'm going to guess it was, considering the way this was laid out. It didn't seem like it was a random thing, I mean, it was because these guys are prepared for, at least they looked like were they on defense or I can't tell that if that's their house.
Defense to me.
Well, I don't know if there was more guys shooting at them and they were ready. I couldn't tell what it was really, because it looked like I couldn't tell if that's their house they're at and they're waiting for some guys to come by and roll up on them, or where they got some word that was going to happen.
Well, my assumption is that if you're coming out of your house shooting, you're on defense, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't be on offense, and I guess you're both on offense once you start shooting. But yeah, I would think that they were not the aggressor in the situation. That somebody rolled up on them.
Yeah,
they didn't get a tip that somebody was coming down the street, start shooting.
That was my impression. That it looked like that was their house. That these guys came up and they were ready for him though. You can tell they were definitely ready for him. Did anybody get killed, or do we know that?
No, nobody got shot.
Nobody got shot. Okay.
That's what I was saying. Like, how do you shoot that many bullets and you don't hit a single target? That's why I said like they need to get a 2-gun tactical and learn how to shoot. Yeah. They have Kim Wade Wednesdays over there. Maybe I shouldn't be giving the Jackson thugs that information.
I guess lucky for them that they didn't kill anybody, because some guy got caught. He'd been charged with, murder.
One of them did get called.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, also, but wait, there's more. There's one that's been arrested, and there's one that they're looking for. And, my 4 vial thing. If you have 4 vowels in your first name or more, you are definitely prime to be a mass murderer. One of them is 20-year-old. He's wanted now. 20-year-old Quinn Marion Chrysler. And I counted it out. There's 4 vowels in that first name there, which it lines up. It checks out. He is 4 vowels. And of course, he is out there doing a massive drive-by style mass shootings. So keeping the reputation of the stereotype, should I say, alive for people with 4 or more vowels in their first names. Kim Ray says if they have 5 vowels, they're
I was about to say, what happens if you have 5? Like, what does that make you?
Verified serial killer.
Yeah, well, there's serial killer names. I used to say that when I was prosecuting that guy, I'm seeking the death penalty. You got to have you got to be like Bobby Wayne Johnson. Like that's like a serial killer name,
like
or death row name.
A 3-person white people name.
Yeah,
a serial killer.
Jimmy Lee Duncan, when the guy they just executed. I mean,
every white guy that has been executed by the state in my lifetime had 2 first names.
Yeah.
Or had a middle name, and it always went by the middle name. It'd be like me being called Clayton Arthur.
For some reason, does the state
Buddy
just
Lee?
Yeah, Buddy Lee. Right.
Shaun Aaron.
Yeah, I mean they just I
don't
know.
Say the middle name, and it's always like a 3-letter name in the middle somehow or another. Jimmy Bob.
Jimmy Bob.
It's
shit up now, but
Billy Wayne Smith. It's always something like that.
Absolutely, it's kind of comical. I mean, we talk about stereotypes a lot, and we talk about the black stereotypes, but us white folks got some dumbass ones too. And
I'll never forget the girl that was having sex with the dogs, and you were like, "Effing white people."
Yeah, that's some definitely white people shit. Right,
one of my catchphrases there. Fucking white people. You gotta say it like that.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
I can for sure. Did y'all see that Instagram account I sent y'all, the Confederate AI one?
I started listening. My kids were in the room. I was like, stop. Pause. I was like, dadgummit, Clay. You can't send me stuff like this.
It was wild.
I know. I meant to go back and listen to it when I was out of the room with my kids, and I forgot. But it looked a little wild. That looked like the Wild Whites of West Virginia right there.
I do remember watching that show.
That's like the mating call where you have the pill bottles.
The shaking, yeah. I call it the Rankin County mating call.
The Rankin County.
That's where I stole that from. Was
West White
Wild and Wonderful White of West Virginia.
Yes.
Let's see here. I want to play. We got to. We're not talked about it. I got a video pulled up here.
Okay.
Shaun, if you'll just
I got it.
It's on friggin' Instagram, so it just automatically starts playing.
Oh,
is it on the screen yet?
Yep, it's up there.
If you have children in the room, please cover their ears.
I'm gonna just reload and turn the volume on.
Respect? You let a man nut on your face for a fucking cheesesteak hot pocket and a ride home. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Granny, you think I should start an OnlyFans?
Start a job application, bitch. Ain't nobody paying to see a coochie look like beef jerky.
Granny, I'm trying to be a better woman.
Then stop fucking dudes who smell like vape juice and court dates and ass, bitch. You been trying to since you got fingered in 8th grade, you fucking cum dumpster.
Granny, I'm trying to be a better
person. Bitch, the best thing you could do for the world is shut the fuck up and get your tubes tied with barbed wire.
Granny, can you help me get my life together?
Help you? I couldn't fix your dusty ass life with duct tape, prayer, and a fucking priest. Bitch, you're God's unfinished mistake.
Granny, you got any thongs I can borrow?
Bitch, your coochie don't need fabric. It needs an exorcism.
Granny, why don't nobody take me serious?
Because you walk around looking like a fucking STD with hoop earrings, bitch. Respect's earned, not swallowed at the fucking gas station bathroom.
Granny, I just got kicked out my man's place. Can I crash with you?
Bitch, you don't need a place to crash. You need a priest, a penicillin shot, and a fucking reality check.
All right. So those are the white stereotypes that do exist. In fact, I'm shocked that's AI and not just real life.
Yeah, right.
So I sent that to several people today, and the immediate response I got was, "I opened that in front of people." Everybody said the same thing. I'm like, if Clay Edwards sends you a reel,
you should know better. You should know better.
Or it's like when anybody sends you that thing that you click on, something that's supposed to be funny, and then it's that big black guy with his dick out.
Oh yeah.
And then you're always in front of somebody.
That one has caught me so many times.
Everybody catches. Everybody's been fooled by the big black guy with the dick thing.
So my favorite line in that is actually the one thing I think we can say is get your tubes tied with barbed wire.
Get your tubes out. Is that what they said in there?
Oh yeah.
That's what did you know?
I was trying to fix the internet.
Tubes tied with barbed wire.
Oh God.
Yes.
That's
Anyway,
sorry
for the detour there, everybody. But you can find that Instagram at confederate.ai, I believe is what it's called, confederate.ai. It's hilarious. I just stumbled across it today. Somebody, I think Doug Townsend or somebody shared it, and I was like, oh my. I sat here for 20 minutes watching those reels. Like 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back, but I needed a good laugh, and I got it from that. Because we all know some girls like that. Kind of hot, kind of trashy hot.
Trashy hot.
We know the type. We know the type.
Trashy hot. And it's like, oh man. And they were definitely raised by Granny. So it's just funny.
Raised by Granny.
All right. So
I don't even know what to like. I don't know what to say.
Folks behaving bad in Jackson. That was, like I said, same mayor. I mean, new mayor, same shit. Same city.
Yeah. Well,
then there's old, what's his name? That had the one I was talking about. What's his name?
Vernon Hartley.
Vernon Hartley.
Oh yeah, that is actually, she has taken that down.
Yeah, she did, but I have the screenshots. I have the screenshots. Clay sent them to me.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody sent them to me last night as soon as we got off. Well, actually, they were in my inbox already.
Gmail. Yeah. Okay. That's I don't have the screenshots, but Lindsay does.
I'm sending it to him.
Okay.
So you can put them up there.
So my source, LOL, sent it to me while we were live last night, and I didn't open the messages until we got off because I would love to have hit this last night in live time.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, he got roasted. So somebody's messaged me today that doesn't get involved in any of this kind of shit, and I was like, "Hey, I hope you're feeling better. At least you're not having as bad of a day as Vernon Hartley." I was like, "Oh man, if this guy knows about it and is talking about it, it's
I didn't think it was real at first. I thought it was fake, and then I was like, "Is this real?"
Well, let's set it up a little bit. Vernon Hartley is a Jackson City councilman, for those that don't know, and he's actually one of the "quote unquote" good guys down there that didn't get roped into the scandal and the corruption and all that.
He's roped into something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I'm not gonna fault the guy. At least he ain't gay. At least, I mean, it's okay to be gay, but at least it ain't like a gay love triangle type thing is what I'm saying. A gay expose. It's just, you know what? He's an old dude, likes young, I'm assuming the girl's of age. She's young.
Yeah, she looks definitely of age.
She's a rapper.
Yeah. So let's just say worst case scenario, she's in her 20s and he's 66, I think it said. Or he's in his 60s anyway. I mean, you know what? Game recognized game. I mean, I don't want to personally be with a 20-something-year-old, and it's not my jam. But
I always wonder how those conversations go, because everything that you know and remember and can reminisce about, they don't even know what you're talking about. I just always wonder how those relationships work, because how do you have real conversations? But anyway, here's the
Facebook post right here, and I guess it's probably hard for everybody to read. But
can you maximize your screen any?
Let's see. That's his
like on your browser.
Let me see if I can get this thing.
There you go.
Bit, yeah.
You may just have to kind of scroll.
Yeah, scroll it. There we go. So everybody can see it. There you go. Yeah, I'll scroll it. I'm gonna read that there. I should have put a brick through Vernon Hartley's window. I really cannot stand you. Blah blah blah. There it goes into this stuff.
Pick out
I'm trying to pick out the
juicy parts.
Yeah, it's a pervert preying on young girls. Sue me now, you bitch, and fuck Martin and Martin. I guess he's talking about the Martin law firm, or she is. Fuck your lawyer, bitch ass. Coming to my office, blowing up my spot, weak ass rat shit. Won't shut me up. Trick, I got over 20 grand out of his ass. He real easy, ladies get him, but it ain't over. Ain't God, I can barely read this. Ain't gone ever be over. But I get to lick my back.
Ain't gonna ever be over, she said.
Yeah, there's one portion where she's talking about all he did was he liked to go down on her. That's all that was what he paid for her.
And then but then they call, she's like this N-word, and I'm like, what?
And it's what's funny is it's the second time yesterday or twice yesterday I had to either see or visualize a black man eating out a black woman. I watched the movie Sinners yesterday, which, by the way, if y'all haven't seen Sinners, it is really good. It's the one that was filmed in, it's the one, I don't know if it was filmed in Clarksdale, but it's based in Clarksdale.
Where did you watch it? What platform?
It's on Max.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just in the theater, so it made it there pretty quick. And I watched it yesterday. Loved it. Based in the 1920s. It's got Michael B. Jordan or whatever his name is in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really good. Can't recommend it enough. It's a vampire movie. It's big. It's like a Black from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, okay. I mean,
but based in the 1920s Mississippi in the Delta.
What is From Dusk Till Dawn?
It's a Quentin Tarantino movie from the 90s with Selma Hayek and Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. Yep.
Yeah, vampire movie, but it's a vampire movie, but it's not a corny vampire movie. If that makes sense.
Started that one.
Dracula vampire.
I wish I had screenshotted the comments on this post, by the way, because the comments were gold.
Here's a party. She says, biggest trick on the council. Don't want to do none but eat my pussy all day and night. So Councilman Hartley has been called out for paying to go down on this woman, and her name's Jessica McNuckle. Here's the actual Cash App thing that she's got. I'll blow that up for everybody. You can see that.
So I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he sent her right at 20 grand.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right there.
And then, y'all, the comments, the women in the comments that were trying to holla, look, let me try to talk like them, holla like at Vernon.
Oh, yeah, she didn't hurt him. This didn't go the way she planned. There's a lot of Jackson.
No, they were all like, let me have him. I want him.
Yeah, like hook, line, sinker. I mean, his inbox is blown up.
Well, my question was this. The council people only make like 30-something thousand a year as a part-time job. What does Vernon Hartley do for a living that he's blowing 20 grand on eating pussy? Like, I just want to know what is he?
Can we refrain from?
I just want to know, what is Vernon? Vernon's got that kind of scratch to throw on that. So, like, what does Vernon do? Does he know?
No.
What's Vernon's job?
City
maybe, just maybe he took some other kickbacks from somewhere.
I mean,
that's the first thing that comes to mind.
He learned those skills at Tootsie's.
I'm just wondering where I was like, that's a lot for, I mean, and she said on some of those comments that that's just a piece of it. It was like 40 grand over, the course of whatever like time frame that was, maybe a year or so. So I'm not really, I'm just kind of curious where Councilman Hartley's getting all this scratch, to dump on Miss McNuckle here. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's funny. I mean, it's got to suck to get put on blast.
I mean, but he was put on blast before, like a year ago. You remember when he's like in his boxers and he was yelling at somebody?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. He did get put on blast for that. But yeah.
And there's Miss McNuckle.
I remember Polo was big and was all tied up in that one, sharing all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was all out there. I mean, and this is Miss McNuckle, I guess, rapping here.
I'll be so glad when we get past this. What's that sexy red skank? When we get past this sexy red era of black rappers with the microphone hanging down from the sky in a chicken restaurant parking lot. Can we just get past this era? It's like it's supposed to be a joke, but it's not a joke.
Well, it's been ever since WAP. What's her name?
Cardi B.
Cardi, is that who it was?
I think so.
My daughter had to tell me what that stood for.
Well, but the video styling is the sexy red, where they're in a parking lot with just a mic hanging down from that you can't see where it's coming from in the middle of it's usually a chicken restaurant. I'm not saying that to sound racist or stereotype or anything. It's just literally the way they're doing it. I'm like, guys, don't get mad at people for making racist stereotype insinuations and jokes if you're literally living the stereotype and putting it out there. And we've got Jason Whitlock talks about this a lot, about just what hip hop culture, and there's some other black content creators that lean right of center that I listen to. Antoine Daniels, phenomenal. Very, I can't recommend Antoine Daniels enough. And he's not what you would call a white black guy either. He's definitely got some dog in him, you know what I mean? But he leans conservative and he calls these folks out. And I love it. And they just talk about that this hip hop music has got a death grip on the black community. And this current shit that we're living through with this sexy red era of it's nasty gutter gangster sex trap rap bullshit is it's wild. We're being
told in the comments that we should have Jessica on the show, Miss McNuckle. Maybe
So
we should reach out.
I've had people suggest that I should have people like that on the show and other times. And I just don't trust that they can come on like the radio and not get me kicked off by the FCC.
Well, you had what's his name on, and I was kind of.
He got on there and dropped an F-bomb.
It was touch and go there for a minute.
It was, and that's the main thing I told him. I said, "Hey, I love your stuff. I think he's hilarious." I was like, "But you cuss a lot, and we cannot cuss on the radio." And he still snuck an F-bomb in, and a lot of I like vulgar stuff, and I know I kind of tote the line, kind of toe the line a little bit, or
just a little bit.
I gray the line a little bit, whatever the word I'm looking for is, blur the line. That's what I'm trying to say. I blur the line a lot with sexual innuendo, but man, you can't just come on and talk like we're talking tonight on the radio. There's a difference. There's kids in the car usually. If you're listening to us on the internet, listen at your own risk. But on the radio, there's a reasonable expectation of it being kid friendly enough that I don't have to change the channel unexpectedly. Yeah.
Well, and also speaking of that,
did she post that?
No, so Facebook removed that one that we just showed about the Cash App from payments from Partly. So Facebook had actually removed all that post.
Yeah, well, it was vulgar for one thing.
Yes, it was.
And it was also bullying, internet bullying. So all it takes is a couple people to report something like that, and their AI will read it, and it'll make a quick determination without picking sides. Like, no, this isn't questionable. This is absolutely bullying and vulgar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she was taken down. So
y'all think
you can get away with putting a lot of shit on there, but if it starts getting reported, then their AI starts scanning it. I don't think their AI doesn't really scan everything, but if you put stuff on there and then people report it, then it gets scanned.
Do y'all think that Vernon Hartley will make a statement or a comment on any of this?
Highly unlikely.
I don't think so. What's he going to say? Councilman Hartley, do you like eating pussy? He's like, no. What's he going to say?
You got to stop saying that word.
Okay. That's what she said. So I'm just reading what she said.
Wait, Clay, did you used to live with her?
What?
Somebody said, you're dead wrong for talking about our friend that you used to live at there. I have no idea.
Oh, the comment?
Yeah, we can't pull comments up, can we?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can try one more time, that's a comment. Again, we were just reading that out loud. I didn't know what that meant. That was somebody's comment.
Somebody's comment, yeah.
Let's see.
Clue. That's somebody from a fake account. It just says name.
Here we go.
Okay,
we're able to do it now.
Good deal. Yeah, it just says name.
You're dead wrong for talking about our friend that used to live at their house. Why don't you tell the truth in your redemption story, Clay? Whose house did I used to live at? And who are we talking about?
I thought they were talking about, I thought it was about the Jessica girl, the rapper.
No clue.
601 says person's name is name.
Yeah. That's probably a real person, right?
Well, if y'all would scroll over that, you got to do it on your end and block that commenter.
Okay, sure.
I'll tolerate a lot, but I'm not going to tolerate vague, fake posts.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say something, put your name on it, put your money where your mouth is, and back it up. I mean, get behind what you say. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Period. I mean, what is so difficult about that? I don't understand what's so difficult about that. Yeah,
like I said, I there's a lot of stuff that floats around out there about me. I've told about everything I can tell, and I'm not going to tolerate fake shit from fake accounts. I'm not going to tolerate real shit from fake accounts, to be honest.
Yeah.
So put your name on it or keep your mouth shut.
Mm-hmm. It's like when people try to call into the station under a private number.
Yeah.
I mean, why would anybody answer that?
Yeah. So
outrageous.
Anyway, like I said, my sneaking suspicion is that was our friend from today.
Yeah, we're gonna guess. We
She's
don't go
busy,
name
right? Been busy today.
Man, nut job.
Well, I did have one story. We didn't get to last night, but I think it's pretty funny. I'm gonna put it up on the screen real quick right here, and it's another local one.
We talked about that.
I don't think we didn't.
Yes, we did. We talked about this last night on the show.
Got into what? Did we get into the old man that was sentenced?
Yes.
I guess I don't remember that.
We absolutely talked about it.
Well, we didn't really talk about it. We did. We talked about, how long is he going to live? How long could he be in jail? 10 years?
Yeah. Remember we talked about this?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I thought we didn't.
Y'all, Shaun is really, really good at just tuning people out. Sometimes when he gets bored with the conversation, he's not going to remember anything that you say.
No, I know. I did enough radio with him that if he wasn't plugged into it, he does not need his devices in front of him.
No, and I know every single time that he's not listening to me, because I'll stop and I'll say, "Are you listening?" And then he'll look at me and be like, "No," and he'll put his phone down, and then he'll like, "Okay, go ahead now." He is so one-tracked. But he focuses in on something, and that's got his full attention.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't remember us talking about it last night. I don't know. I know we didn't show the video. That's why. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. So anyway, no big deal. Anyway, an old guy got convicted for killing you right now. I'm kind of remembering us. Yeah, got convicted for killing his wife. That's right. We did talk about that.
I mean, I think that might be a problem with all relationships. Men just block the women out. So
I got an interesting tidbit today that it kind of slid under the radar. If y'all want to circle back to the Brandon statue.
Oh yeah, I want to hear it.
So if it's on their YouTube video, but one of the guys that got up and spoke, his name eludes me, but he got up and spoke on moving the statue. He was for moving the statue, and he did it. He acknowledged who he was and where he worked, and as far as I'm concerned, he did it representing the Rankin County School District and Brandon Middle School, and he's
really?
He's either the principal or assistant principal.
Oh, I did see him. Yeah.
Wait! Somebody tell me this again.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep, that's right. There was an assistant principal at Brandon talked about because they actually referenced him in the article.
Was he for the statue or against it?
He was for moving it.
Well, then he shouldn't be using that he's with this. Did he say that he was with the school?
I think that's where he said he worked. I don't know that. I don't think so. Like speaking on behalf of the school.
Yeah, but if you get up in a position like that and you mention where you work,
have a big problem.
You're trying to suggest that you are a prominent voice, that you're a recognized voice, that your voice matters, that your opinion matters. Everybody's opinion matters, but you're suggesting that you're speaking on behalf of. You're a representative of. And you imagine the backlash that he would be getting if he is just simply on the other side of that argument. If he had got up there and said, "I am the principal of Brandon Middle School," or assistant principal or whatever, and this statue needs to stay. The outrage that would have come from the other side saying, "Oh my God, this racist is a principal at a school." Go ahead.
Okay, Rankin County. Now y'all showed out, and y'all made me super proud when you showed up at these supervisors meetings, and you got it.
Well, sorry, I pulled up the actual article where his quote was about.
That was loud in my ear. Yeah. Sorry, but you showed up at that supervisor meeting, and you got done what needed to get done, and you let them know that you were watching them, and you held those supervisors accountable. I'm asking all of you Rankin County citizens, you go to the next Rankin County School Board meeting and let them know this is not okay. You don't get to be a teacher in Rankin County schools and go stand up and advocate for something like that while using the fact that you're a teacher in Rankin County schools. No, absolutely not.
I think I'm just going to pull up exactly what he said. It's here in the WLBT article that by the sound, not sound. Well, now it's logged.
Yeah, that really set me back a second.
Yeah, it did. So seem to get heated about
when we click on these WLBT articles, they have these videos a lot of times.
They automatically play the video.
There's always a ad at the intro of it that just takes over. And for me, it's always a restream.
And then you can't do anything.
Quit sending me the restream ad.
That was what it was right then. It was a restream ad. Exactly right. That's exactly what it was. Just give me y'all go ahead for 1 second.
Yeah, so let me find it. 601 Richard said, "What is the reasoning behind wanting to move the statue?" Clay, you take that.
They want to pretend that it's for. They want to move it because at the end of the day they think it's racist. I believe, this is my opinion here, that Butch, the mayor, Butch Lee, the mayor, made a deal with I'm not calling a grown ass man by his nickname. I think it's Gerald Crane is his name, but he goes by Bebe or it's B-A-B-A. It's Baba, by the way, not Bebe. But he spelled it B-A-B-A. But so Baba Crane, who is the black representative on the city council or the board of aldermen for the little area across the street from my neighborhood. And I believe that he made a deal with them, an election deal, that if they would support him over Fred, that he would work towards getting the statue moved. That Bebe, and he wants to leave his legacy. He wants that statue moved. And this is the same guy who him and his boys followed and stalked me and my family around that parade.
I was about to ask you if that was the one at the parade, but I was not going to say that on air or live if you didn't.
Yeah, I've tiptoed around talking about it some because I really just don't want the pain in the ass that comes with calling these people out sometimes. But yeah, that's what happened. Police got involved. I mean, it was a shit show, at the parade. Really embarrassing ordeal that I could have done without. But neither here nor there. Keep in mind, I've never had a conversation with this guy like most of these crazy people who get obsessed with me. I don't know them. I didn't even know who this guy was. I didn't even know he had a black member on the board of aldermen, to be honest with you. But I don't know who the white ones are. I don't pay that much attention because Brandon runs okay. I don't have but a few little problems with Brandon, and it's when they do dumb shit like this statue, for example. I even rear my head. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy that moved over from Jackson and comes over here and starts nitpicking and about everything. Like, it's not really my jam. They do a good job here. That's why I moved here. I don't need to get overly involved, and I don't. But with this particular thing, I don't like this. And I damn sure don't like the guy who is the main one pushing it. My understanding is when they went back into executive session a few weeks ago, when this whole thing popped off.
By the way, there should be no executive session.
Ever. That is bullshit to the 10th degree. And if these First Amendment auditors want to get me on their side, start demanding to be a part of these executive session meetings. And I'll tell you what, I'll flip on them, and I will 100% support what they do. And if they want to go do that, I even said that in my video or when we talked about it or on the radio show that day, whatever, I brought that up. It was on the radio show the next day. These First Amendment auditors want to go do that. Absolutely. Their executive session should be illegal.
Things need to be done in the sunshine. Florida has sunshine laws, and transparency breeds trust. We need government to be transparent with the people. Executive sessions should have no place.
I believe that Butch Lee, and I agree with you 100%. I believe that Butch Lee made a campaign promise that he does not have the legal right or legal ability to even make a reality. He went, my understanding, so I had to layer all this with a big allegedly. So this is Clay's opinion. And this is also what I've heard from people who are in the know. We call that sources. Now, you can decide if you believe them or not. Some people will just, until they can 100% confirm it, they won't float this out there. But I will float it out there because I'm not held to the same standard as a journalist like CJ LeMasters. So I will float this out there. And I will tell y'all that this is allegedly. I was told that Butch went to the board of supervisors because Rankin County owns the statue, not the city of Brandon. So everybody knows that. That's a Rankin County deal. Brandon is for those that don't understand it, Brandon is the county seat for Rankin County. That's where all the business is done. Jackson and Raymond are the county seat. Jackson has dual county seats, which is very rare, by the way, from my understanding. And so he went to them and he asked them to give him the statue so he could have it moved. Now, it's going to cost around $600,000, is my understanding, to get the statue moved.
What?
That's floated around. Wow. These things are huge. It's a big ordeal. It's way more than just throwing it on a crane if you're going to move it and not break it. So he wants to spend, let's just say it's $50,000, $60,000, $100,000, whatever. Brandon's in no position. Rankin County's in no position to be spending that kind of money to move a statue coming off the $500,000 lawsuit with the Goon Squad. Or $1 million, whatever it was, $5 million, whatever the amount was. I don't remember the total amount, but it was $5 million, wasn't
it? I think, I thought they got 2 to 3. I can't remember the number exactly.
Whatever it was. They're in no position to be wasting money, taxpayer money, moving a damn statue because people are in their fee-fees about it. So Baba, Gerald Crane, he has been angling to get this thing moved because he wants that to be his legacy. Is he got that statue moved, or whatever, because racism. And they went back into executive session. Butch thought he had the votes to get it done. Then they come back out, and I'm resetting this a little bit just for people to understand that maybe don't know or aren't up on it. They came back out. He brought it to vote because the mayor's the only person who can bring something on the agenda up for vote. And he ended up not getting the votes he needed. And he had to cast the tie-breaking vote. He tried to weasel out of it and say, well, we ought to just wait till the newly elected Board of Aldermen member gets here on July 1st, whatever. And Mark Baker, the city attorney, said, you can't do that. It's against the law. You have to cast the vote. You have to cast the tiebreaker. And the look on his face and the pause between that told you that ain't what he thought was going to happen. He came out of executive session thinking he had those votes, and 3 people weren't on board with it. So it was 3-3, and he had to be the tiebreaker because the other alderman wasn't there. And
he couldn't. He had to say no.
Cast his vote, so he voted. He was on the spot, and he had made a promise to Baba that he would get the statue moved, or at least put forth his best efforts to get it moved. So he had to vote yes to move forward with getting the estimates to move it. And Baba gets up and storms out of the Board of Aldermen meeting and won't talk to nobody because he was pissed off that it didn't pass 6-0.
Well, you know what? I hope that Baba and Butch Lee are watching. It would behoove them to do so because Michael Applewhite just made a great deal. He said he would do it for $550,000.
As long as he gets to put a t-shirt shirt on it.
Here's another funny thing, and I want to be real clear here. I have no problem with the Gallows bar. I love the Gallows. I like Jamie that owns the Gallows and owns all that stuff over there. Jamie's last name eludes me off the top of my head right now, but he owns all that stuff, and he's an architect. He's just a great guy. I have no problem with him at all. I have no problem with Gallows, no problem with the name. Doesn't offend me, doesn't bother me, none of that. But it's a reason it's called the Gallows. It's where they hung people, and a lot of black ones at that. And the structure where they did it is now a bandstand, a stage, and people play. There's a friend of mine is playing live there right now, as a matter of fact.
Is it Jamie Weir?
Great guy. And again, I have no problem. I tiptoed about even wanting to bring this up or talk about it, but we're here, so let's do it. Baba likes to go there and get drunk 3, 4, 5 nights a week. His ass ain't got no problem going and hanging out somewhere called the Gallows that still got the damn gallows on the patio that calls the name and embraces the history, which I love. Embrace it. Don't run from it. That doesn't mean you have to, you go in or wanting to use
Agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. That'd be a problem.
Take over like, man, I just suddenly want to hang me a motherfucker. And that doesn't happen. And the statue's the same way. I don't see the statue, and nobody sees the statue and thinks to themselves, if the South had just won that goddamn war.
Yeah, well, only Lance Stevens does.
So Baba it's selective outrage, and I can't stand selective outrage. It's the statue needs to go, but I ain't got no problem coming over here to the Gallows 4, 5, 6 nights a week and getting drunk, hanging out, chasing women, guys, whatever his thing is, I don't know. That ain't no problem. That don't offend him, but the statue does. I can't take him serious, and he's made an enemy with me, and so fuck him.
Seems very much a double standard there.
Yeah. Well, I did find finally with all the pop-up ads on WLBT, the quote from the man's name is Trey Rain. He's the principal of Brandon Middle School. What he did say was the quote, at least in the article. I don't know what the full context of everything you said.
I'm gonna have to find it and click the video out. Brandon
Middle School's student population is approximately 37% black. So I'm assuming he announced himself as the principal.
He did.
He says, Rain said, I have a hard time looking at those students and telling them that I think they should drive past the statue that sounds a lot like it's glorifying the Confederate cause.
Man,
that was his quote.
Don't live here if you don't
How
like
dare
it.
you?
You know, I'm gonna disagree with you guys here, and not that
I don't care.
Well, that's fine, but I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm not for moving the statue. That's not my point. But I think if he wants to say that, and that's his, and he legitimately feels that way, I don't have a problem with him saying that.
Okay, well then he shouldn't have a problem when parents show up and say, "We do not agree with this man representing himself as the principal of this middle school," and then making these political comments. You don't do that. You cannot be a teacher or a principal and show bias one way or the other.
Wait, so is that just for when you're a principal or teacher? Like, what if you're in another governmental position? Like, are you not able to like campaign for somebody on your spare time or make political statements when you're not at work? I mean, you're not allowed to do that.
But he was in his spare time, but he used the fact that he's a principal.
Well, I think he also, what he's done is he's suggesting that anybody who's not for moving it is a racist. So he's calling all the other kids and parents at the school racist if they don't want to move it. You know, when you invoke racism,
I want to hear the whole thing. I'm going to find
racism for your argument. You're saying everybody that doesn't agree with you is a racist. And again, I'll say it again. I don't give a shit about the statue. I just like history, and I'm not for pandering and moving things around that haven't been in the way, haven't bothered anybody for 100 and some odd years. Why is it suddenly an issue now? Why wasn't this an issue when Butch was running for mayor? Why didn't he bring this up on the campaign trail? That if he's so passionate about it, why not bring it up on the campaign trail? We know we're going to get that statue moved. Let's see how that would have played out for him. He knows the majority doesn't want that done, is why it wasn't a hot button issue on the campaign. He had to wait till after he won, and then let's get it in. And I'm not saying that he's reinvented the wheel there. A lot of people do that in politics. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But if he really thought that it was such a popular deal, he would have ran on it.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you there. Politically, it's not. I wouldn't think that it would have been a winner issue in Rankin County. Again? I wouldn't think, or Brandon at least. What
was his name again? Here, I got it right here. Is that? Can you pull up the video? It's at 15 minutes and 49 seconds.
Sure. And was it the Brandon YouTube or something?
Yes, it's if you just type in like Brandon, Mississippi, it comes up. But he starts at 15:49. Look how fast I found that.
Look, and I want to say something here too. I don't have a problem with him getting up there and saying this. My point is this. Because Sarah Smith says Trey is a very respectful representative to the community. I don't have a problem with Trey, and I don't have a problem with Trey being on the other side of this. I don't have a problem with getting up there and saying that he's with the school. My point is this. The outrage, if he had got up there 49. And suggested that it would 15. Be, if he was on the other side of the argument, that's the best way I can articulate it. If he was on the other side of the argument, there would be an absolute meltdown from the liberal media about a guy. They would start calling him a racist, and oh my God, this guy is he thinks that it's okay to have a Confederate statue, and he's teaching your kids. 37% of the kids at Brandon Middle School are African American, and the principal thinks the Confederate statue should stay. Again, it's a double standard that I have a problem with. Just like I have the problem with Baba hanging out at the gallows all the time, and not having a problem with that, but having a problem with this. Be consistent. And Alex Pierce, I did borrow that from you. Thank you for bringing that point up in the comments the other day. I've had a dozen people mention it to me, and Alex, I forgot to give you your credit there.
And here's Mr. Rain's statement.
Brandon Middle School. My name is Trey Rain, and it has been my privilege to serve the town of Brandon as a school principal for the last 14 years, going on 15 years, as both an assistant at the high school and currently as the head principal at Brandon Middle School. I'm here this evening to voice my support of considering the removal of the Confederate monument to a less prominent and more historically appropriate location. As a school principal, I'm for anything that might improve the flow of traffic to start school on time. But regardless of the effect of traffic, I'd ask that the community consider relocating the statue as a token of goodwill towards all its citizens. I want to read a couple of the lines from the statue's plaque to you. Although conquered, we adore it. Weep for those who fell before it. Brandon Middle School student population is approximately 37% black. I'd have a hard time looking at those students and telling them that I think they should drive past a statue that sounds a lot like it is glorifying the Confederate cause. I think it falls to those in leadership positions to speak up on behalf of all the people they are leading. In this case, I don't think that any of the arguments in favor of keeping the statue in its current location outweigh the good it would bring to relocate it. We have an opportunity here to make a statement that we are focused on our town's future more than its past. Our past is important and it should not be forgotten, but there's a difference between remembering and honoring. If there is going to be a statue in the very heart of downtown Brandon, let's have it be one that brings honor to all its town citizens. So this is on behalf of me, my family, and many people that I've spoken to. I now have my second child coming through Brandon Middle School. It has been a pleasure to be in Brandon. One thing we talk about all the time when I talk to administrators around the state and other educators around the state is the pride that comes with Brandon. And I just think that pride and just that passion that they bring into Brandon should stand, it really should stand for togetherness. We had a slogan quite a few years ago. It was talking about one town. It'd be nice if that one town was about us all being together. And I also know just as family members reach out, we have to recruit families from time to time. And those families call, and I have great joy in talking about the city of Brandon and the growth that is a part of that city of Brandon. Not only just the service that is part of Brandon, it is safe, but in part of that safety and some part of that opportunity and that growth, I would consider this a huge step moving forward. So thank you for your time.
I have a big problem with how many times he mentioned the school and his position at the school. He was as if he was speaking for the school.
And again, if he was on the other side of that, it would be an absolute meltdown from the statewide and local media. And, and he mentioned, let me see this real quick. He mentioned location appropriate place or historical appropriate place for it or something like that. It's been in a historical appropriate location for over 100 years. Before there were even friggin' cars coming up and down that road, that thing's been there. It is the definition of a historically appropriate location based on the history of why it's in that exact spot, which the exact details elude me. There was a reason it was put right there in that exact spot. Also, he said something about traffic, and that's been kind of like the underlying chicken shit excuse from the leadership about why they want it moved. I want to see a design. I want to see a drawing of what the potential traffic solution is. He mentioned it. Butch has mentioned it. Several others. It's like their little backdoor excuse for trying to justify it other than just saying it's racist. With the traffic. It's a traffic issue.
How does it increase
traffic? What
traffic?
are you going to do?
I'm
There's
confused.
nowhere to go. The businesses on one side of the road are already right on the road. If you take the parking from those, you're going to have to tear them down. As a matter of fact, Jamie Ware's Gallows doesn't. You're gonna take Jamie Ware's parking? No, you're not. It already doesn't have any. You're gonna take the parking there if you're gonna widen it, because that's really the only thing that you can do to get more traffic through there. Then you have Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, and the new Mexican restaurant, the pizza place, all that. There's a sidewalk and their entrance. There is no widening the damn road. You're still gonna just bottleneck. Even if you widen it where the statue is, you're just gonna bottleneck to everywhere else. There's no widening the road. You can't do it. That's not an option. The county is on the other side of the road, the Rankin County Courthouse and all that stuff. You could potentially maybe take a lane there. You think the county is going to give the city a 100 yards of land to widen it? No, they're not. There's no widening. Again, that's just my assumption. But I want to see a drawing. I want to see where somebody has put forth a plan that if you take this statue down, what is your plan for traffic that's going to make it magically so much better? There's not one. I'm assuming there's not one. This is a political play to pay back a favor for support during an election, and it's nothing more.
I got a few points tacking off what you said. First thing, I do agree with you that if he were in support, that the media would speak up against him. I think you're absolutely right. That would happen. So, I mean, I don't disagree on that point. But I will also say this. I thought he was very sincere about what he's saying. I think if he's genuinely feels that way, I don't have an issue with that's his sentiment. You know what I mean? That he feels that these are his students and he doesn't feel like it's a good thing for them. I'm not saying I agree with him. I'm just saying if that's his actual sentiment, he seemed like a very sincere man. I didn't see anything offensive that he said in his statement. I thought it was, like I said, it came across very, heartfelt, in my opinion.
I'd be willing to bet money there has not been a middle school student that has come to him in distraught over this statue.
Well, I mean, I don't know whether they have or not. I'm just saying it didn't seem like he was lying. I mean, the way he felt.
I'm not questioning that at all. And I'm not questioning his character or anything. My only problem is he comes across as he is representing Brandon High School or Brandon Middle School. And I don't like, if you want to get up there as a citizen and say it, but he keeps driving the point home that he's representing the school. He's the moral compass of Brandon because he's the principal of the middle school. And 37% of them are Black. And gosh dang it, if he also acts like Blacks are monolithic and could all only want the statue moved.
Okay, there's a comment directed at me, and I want to respond to this. If Trey was an oil change guy at the local pit stop, this wouldn't even register on Lindsey's radar. You know what? You're right. It wouldn't. And I did watch this meeting live, and I did listen to many people speak about this same issue. So kind of they did kind of land on my radar. I do have a big problem with someone from a school district getting up there and representing themselves as if they are speaking on behalf of the school, because I have 5 children, and that's what I am passionate about, are my children not being indoctrinated, my children not having something put into their brains that just might not be the truth. And I don't believe that there is a single child that has found an issue with this statue unless their parents have made them believe there's an issue with the statue. That thing's been there for 1,000,000 years or however many years. And I don't care if they move it or not. It's not in my town. I really honestly don't care. I do have a problem with a principal getting up there and acting as though they are speaking on behalf of a school. I do have a big problem with that. And that's exactly why it registers with me. So you're right there. I don't care if that was meant to be an insult or not.
I don't know that he's indoctrinating anyone. I think he's saying some legitimate feeling that he has.
I didn't say he indoctrinated anyone. That's not what I said.
I don't know that.
He's from Byram. I mean, why did he move from Byram to Brandon? I mean, it seems like Byram had plenty wide enough roads and schools that he could have done this set out there. I don't know. I don't know why that's relevant, but I just felt like I needed to get it off my chest.
I wonder if he found his voice and he spoke up when they were masking our children.
This conversation came today in another call I had with somebody, and they had said that they didn't like that I had called out one of the principals for walking around Target with her mask off.
Oh, I posted her on my Facebook.
I did too. I think you had probably sent me that photo. But look, these people had an opportunity to stand up and speak out, and they didn't.
That's right.
And that was my problem. It wasn't that they were walking around Target with a mask off. It was that they had an opportunity to stand up against tyranny, and they didn't even remotely. They did not fight back at all. And it just shows you how quickly we can be overtaken when somebody's worried about their high 4. More worried about their high 4 than they are doing the right thing.
Right. I agree completely. I was showing up at school board meetings in every county I could drive to, just because I wanted to be there to show support for the school board members that would do the right thing. And you know what? I didn't see any of them that did.
Yep. Let's see here. Alex says, can it legally be touched by Butch Lee since it's a historical site since 97? Doesn't the state own it? I would think he would be in a legal battle with civil rights. The county owns it, and he does not have any legal right to move it. So that's what I was trying to say. He tried to get the county to give it to him. I thought it was somebody who told me that he tried to get the county to sell it to him so they could move it. He doesn't. The city of Brandon can do all the voting on, all the estimates, everything they want to do, and they can't legally move it. The board of supervisors has to do this, or has to give Brandon ownership, which they can't do. I Googled it, I grokked it, I AI'd it, I chat GPT'd it. They can't legally sell it to Brandon. The Rankin County Board of Supervisors has to be the one doing this. All of this going on right now is just a minstrel show.
So why is this happening at the city council meeting and not the Board of Supervisors
doesn't want anything to do with it. That's what I was getting at. They've
had enough problems recently, haven't they?
Want the smoke of trying to get this thing moved. And if the Board of Supervisors decides to step in, that's when the rest of the county out here beyond just Brandon is going to get involved. And they've already seen what happens when the rest of the county, when the actual county gets involved and not just the city of Brandon. They didn't like the smoke they got, and they immediately overturned that trailer park ban, or that mobile home issue they were working on. And I'm telling you, if this goes to the Board of Supervisors, it's going to be a shit show of epic proportions that they do not want any of. And I'm telling you, this is all for nothing. This is just a political minstrel show.
Happy birthday, Jen. Y'all tell Jen happy birthday. That is Jake's friend, and he asked if we could give her a shout out. Thought maybe that would ease the tension.
We need the tension. That's what we're doing.
No, I get it. Look, I'm right there with you. I have a big problem with what I just watched, and these political stunts, and not to mention the fact that why would anybody within the city of Brandon or the Board of Supervisors, Rankin County, want to put that much of a cost, something that's going to cost so much? Why do we want to do something like that when what does it really change? Whether it's in the cemetery or or where it's always been, what does it really change? And you want to have taxpayers.
Well, she froze up on us there, guys. What is the upside of creating this racial tension in Brandon right now? Because that's all this does is create racial tension. I'm just going to talk while they're. Are you back?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Y'all froze up for a second there. I was just trying to make sure we didn't have dead air. Lindsey, pick back up where you left off there.
Oh, no, I was just saying, what is the reason for either, not just the city of Brandon, but also the county, the Board of Supervisors? What is the reason to put that kind of money on the taxpayers when this is going to be very costly? What is the reason? What is it going to change? Please tell me, whether it's in a cemetery or in the middle of the downtown. This is a political promise, in my opinion, that was made to sway some votes and to sway some support towards the current mayor. And look, and I'm going to be, when I first moved out here, I put a Butch Lee sign in my yard, and I supported Butch Lee over a guy that I now know personally and have a ton of respect for, our buddy that's the chief of the Capitol Police. And so I supported Butch when I first moved out here. His son, I didn't know Bo. You know what I mean? I didn't know Bo, and I knew I didn't really know Butch, but I knew Butch's son. And I moved out here. I'm like, Brandon seems to be going pretty dang good out. Things seem to be really good out here in Brandon. I'll support this. I couldn't even vote yet, because I hadn't been out here long enough. I just put a sign in my yard. Like I said, Butch's son is a big supporter of mine, a nice guy, listens to the show a lot. He probably not anymore, since I've been kind of going after his dad. And I respect that. I probably wouldn't be happy if somebody went after my dad. And my daughter doesn't like when people go after me. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. But that's when you have a high profile parent, that kind of comes with the territory. I'm sure people don't like it when your daughters don't like it. Your kids don't like it when people come after you, if they're aware of it. So I get it. So I want to say this is, I'm not some guy that's disliked Butch. I supported Fred because Fred is my friend. And if I was running for mayor, I would hope my friends supported me. I never said a negative word about Butch in any of the campaigns. Actually, I think both of you said some really kind things about Butch, and that he's brought a lot of good things to the city of Brandon and to Rankin County. I've heard both of you say that, so I don't think that at all.
Yeah, Brandon's a different place over the last 10 years. It really, it is. Think about it.
I want to be real clear. This isn't an attack on Butch Lee, the man. This is an accountability question, an integrity attack on Butch Lee, the mayor, because I'm trying to understand what the upside is to creating all this racial animosity, because it's polarizing. That people are very passionate about this on both sides. And there was no real point in bringing this up, knowing you don't have the power to get this done, but you're creating this shitstorm for no reason. And Butch is a smart politician. He had to know that this was going to create a shit show.
Yeah, and Clay, this is what we are seeing in the education system too. It's trying to divide, and people don't understand that critical race theory is in every school. It's not implement. It's not taught. Your kids are not going to bring home a book labeled critical race theory. It's implemented, and it's things like this that make me realize just how prevalent that is. And they want a group of people to feel like they are not as good because of their skin color, and they want a group of people to feel like they are bad because of their skin color, or they're evil. And I just completely disagree with that. I think that we should be past that. We've come so far. Why are we doing this?
Well, I disagree with that. I mean, what I'm saying, I don't think it's critical race theory. I see the arguments on both sides of this. I really do. And I mean, that's why I've said before, I'm not for moving it, because but I can see if you are for moving it, there are some legitimate reasons that you are, that I don't think are just like stupid. I don't think they should do it, but I don't think they're just
I agree with you. I understand both sides.
I mean, I really
think it's middle schoolers that have those reasons.
I don't know, Lindsay, but I mean, the Confederacy to a lot of people represents something bad. I mean, it just does. That's just a historical fact. And I don't know. And I'm not saying that all of it, they may not understand the entire historical context of it, but I think for feeling that way is not necessarily wrong. I don't think it's critical race theory.
Well, I'll say this. I think critical race theory, whether you want to call it CRT or not, is the reason why the whole story of the Confederacy is not taught in schools, because they don't want anybody having anything that resembles sympathy at all. They want to put the Confederacy right there with something we've been discussing, Nazis and the KKK. They want the Confederacy right there with those two things historically, when it's very disingenuous to put it right there with that.
I have a question.
That's what they want it told.
Shaun, I have a question for you. Okay, so our founding fathers who signed the Declaration of Independence, the ones who were the first men on the scene who wanted to make this country great, do you believe that we shouldn't honor them because they had slaves?
No, I've never said that.
Okay,
That's not what I'm saying.
But do you see what?
It's a completely different argument.
Do you see the point I'm making?
No, not really, because it's different.
How?
Because we're talking about the Confederacy. I know people will say this in terms of history, but you can go look at, I can pull right now Mississippi succession document when it says, and I can almost quote it, that the reason they were leaving the Union is because black people were the only ones that can endure the sun and perform labor. So the reason they left is because of slavery. I mean, they say it, you can look at the document, and that's different, I think, than.
But I just said slavery had something to do with that.
But I mean, I think that's different than what the Confederacy, the planter class at least, was trying to preserve. I think that was different at that point. So, I mean, that's not, I don't think that's the same argument at all.
So the Confederacy, those men that fought then, they should not be recognized, and we should just forget about them or hate them in the history of them.
I never said any of that. That's not what I said at all. That's not what I said at all. Well, I said that I can understand how people have a view of it. I can totally understand where that comes from. I didn't say that we should hate them or not honor them or that they shouldn't have any monuments. Never said anything like that. I said I can understand where that view that the principal was espousing comes from. I get it. I'm not saying I don't even think they should move it. But I mean, I think to dismiss it as like an invalid view is not fair or historically accurate.
How can we want to dismiss one part of history, but when there's another part of history that did the same thing or that felt the same way?
Well, I mean, it was not the same thing, though.
But we want to honor. No, but they had slaves, Shaun.
But I mean, they weren't fighting to preserve the institution of slavery either, though. I mean, they weren't doing that.
They didn't mind having slaves?
No, I mean, there's been slaves throughout human history. I mean, that's true, too.
But are we not angry with every past president and every founding father who had slaves?
Yeah, but I mean, this is a completely different argument than what we're discussing here.
Tear down every statue of them?
No, I'm not saying. I didn't say tear down a dang statue. I'm just telling you that this is why people on that side feel this way about it, and it's a legitimate feeling. I'm not saying I feel that way or that they should move them. I'm just saying I'm not dismissing it. That's just stupid. I don't think it's stupid.
And by the way, I was all for changing the flag because that represents us today.
Well, then why were you for changing the flag?
Because it represents us today.
Okay.
The flag of Mississippi represents this state today.
And
that statue doesn't. It represents history of Mississippi.
Okay. I understand that, which was my argument before, is why I said I don't think they should move it. But I'm just saying I can understand where people feel differently is my point.
Well, I'm just saying don't be a middle school principal and get up there and act as if you're speaking on behalf of the school if you don't want pushback.
I agree with both of y'all on this.
This is what we do all the time.
You're making two different points, but you're kind of arguing with each other about it. But Lindsay, I agree with you 1,000%. He got up there and represented himself as if he was representing the school, and I did not. I don't have I sound like a hypocrite here. I want to see if I can unpack this properly. I don't have a problem with him doing that if on the flip side, and this isn't even so much an attack on him as it is just the double standard of the situation. I respect that he got up there and spoke his opinion. I respect that he wasn't afraid to say he was with the school. But to me, that says more about what our liberal shitbag mainstream media in the state and country have turned into, is that he does feel comfortable getting up there and saying that he's with the school, where if he was a conservative in a majority red state in a super red county like Rankin, where it should be absolutely more than acceptable to get up there and suggest that he's okay with the statue, that historically we shouldn't run from our history. We should face it head on and learn from it versus hide it over in a corner and pretend it didn't happen. And that is my point with all this. We should not be running from our history. But if he got up there and said that in the most articulate way possible, that came down the middle as best as it could and just showed that this is about history, not racism, et cetera, he would have been crucified and probably would have been forced to resign from his job if he got up there and tried to make the argument for not moving it, and regardless if he had said he was the principal or not.
No, I agree. I mean, I agree. I think you're 100% accurate. That's what would have happened. We totally agree on that. Yes. And it's unfair. And that's kind of my whole point in making these, looking at both sides of this. I don't think the people that want to keep it are racist. I don't think that's why they're saying, man, we're racist. And maybe some of them are, I don't know, but I bet the majority of people that want to keep it are not thinking, man, I just want to keep that because it pisses off black people. Like, I don't think that's why they're doing it. I think they are honoring their history and they're preserving history. And they've got a lot of people in this community have relatives that fought, in the Civil War. There's a lot of reasons for that. Just like when the flag debate, look, I was for changing the state flag for many reasons. But the people that were not for, I didn't look at them as a bunch of racists either. I think they just looked at it a different way than I did, but I can respect that, instead of just name calling and saying, you must be a racist because you want to keep it, because that's not true either. And that's kind of my point. We're talking about the principle, where I understand his viewpoint. He feels that way. That's a legitimate way to feel, and others feel a different way. And they're just, that's why we got the public debate about it.
I'll tell you what, the teachers in these communities close by, Rankin County, Madison County, the teachers and the staff of the school, the faculty who were against mask mandates were terrified. They wouldn't speak on it. They couldn't. They were terrified they would lose their jobs. But yet I don't know.
Maybe he feels more passionate about this than he did. I mean, I don't know his personal beliefs. I'm just saying he's talking now. So about this, I don't know what his belief about COVID was.
But I mean, how many times in that speech did he mention the school?
Yeah, I mean, he was speaking from his personal perspective of what he thought. I mean, he said he thought because the black students would feel uncomfortable in his opinion. I mean, it was his opinion that he felt that way.
And he has every right to say that. I just completely disagree with the fact that he's going to continue to act as though he's representing the school.
Yeah, I get it. I get what Lindsey's saying. Like I said, I don't have a problem with getting up there and doing it. I just have a problem, and I know I'm kind of making a bit of a straw man argument here, kind of a what if, but I think it's pretty safe to say, and you agree, that if the shoe was on the other foot, we would be having a different conversation.
Yeah, the Mississippi Today would eat that person alive, 100%, and that's bullshit. And that's what you and I talked about for years now, over 2 years, about this. That's not fair. Like, that's not fair that somebody would get shit on for expressing that they wanted to keep the monument and they had a government position because you're automatically a racist. Now, like, look, if there was a Nazi memorial in the middle of Brandon and there was a person that wanted to keep that, that's a different story, I think. And that's from understanding things through a historical prism. You have to, I think, to understand the differences between the Confederacy and Nazis and that kind of stuff. And a lot of people don't, unfortunately. They really don't and understand that. I think a lot of people. Somebody made a comment earlier, and I've agreed with that. I bet you, I don't know what the percentage of the people that go by there have no idea what the fuck the statue's about anyway. I mean, that's a bigger problem in our society, is that we don't know all the stories, all the sides of history. There's many people, that I've had debates with about the Civil War that'll say, well, like, I mean, the first thing, the pro-Confederacy side will be like, what about slavery? I'm like, well, look at the succession document. It says right there in the first paragraph it was. And I mean, it's everybody, before you have an opinion on things, you got to know what the thing you have an opinion is about. And I think that's a pervasive problem we have in our society.
So Clayton, the school principals are hired by the school districts. The aldermen and supervisors are voted on in each county by their constituents.
No, I think he was asking. I don't think he was asking how the aldermen were hired. I think he was asking, are they the ones that hire the the principals.
No, the principals are hired by the school district.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, and just so everybody, that was a question. Clayton, somebody in the comments had asked who hired the principals. And look, I want to be real super duper clear here, so there's no misunderstanding. And I'm speaking for Clay Edwards here. I am not for anybody attacking this principal.
No, me either. Me either.
And trying to get him fired or anything like that. I'm not trying to be cancel culture here, but he got up in a public forum and spoke. So therefore it's fair game to have this conversation. And it is what it is. I'm on the other side of the argument as him. I don't agree with anything he said, just to be honest with you about it, or at least the way that he said it. I don't think he should be speaking for all the black children that go to the school and their families, just assuming that they're all offended by the statue. Again, black, just like whites, aren't monolithic and don't all move as one, contrary to popular belief. So I think that was a bit disingenuous of him to use the percentage of black students there. And again, if that's the argument, we're going to constantly pander to the minority at 37%. It's like, what's the point in being the damn majority if you don't ever get to take advantage of being the majority on whichever side of it is?
I never
see, like in Jackson, for instance, since this is clearly about race. I mean, he made it clear in the opening paragraph when he brought up the percentage of black students. This is clearly about race. Why is it anytime that the blacks are the majority that they're not taking into account anything that could hurt white people's feelings when it comes to any of these statues or anything like that? You know what I was saying? Okay, we used the Andrew Jackson statue in Jackson as an example here. They had no problem voting to move it, even though they never came up with the money and it's still sitting there. And just like this, what fucking minstrel show for no reason.
What did he say that the statue, what does the statue say? I didn't understand that part of it.
There's a quote on it, and I can read it right now. It says, "States' rights and home rule, truth crushed to earth, will rise again. Men die, principles live forever. And though conquered, we adore it. Weep for those who fell before it. Pardon those who trailed and tore it."
What is wrong with that?
Well, I guess he's suggesting that the South and I understand what Confederacy would rise again.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what I get from that. And I can understand that if you fall on the side where you think the Confederacy is equal to the Nazis, that you would have a problem with that. And I don't necessarily agree with that. But if that's your argument, I understand the argument.
But if you're just reading that doesn't sound anything racist at all.
Well, the thing of the South will rise again.
Yeah, that's kind
of the context. If you ask any liberals or whatnot, the context can only strictly mean that it's about racism and slavery again. If the South rises, we're bringing back slavery. Not we, but the South would bring back slavery and all of these things and hanging people in the gallows and things like that. That the South rising again could only mean racism and slavery and all that comes with it. That's your argument there.
I'm willing to bet anybody $1 million that you can read that to a middle school child and they would not take that from it. Yeah, well, I mean, I get there's a point like when do you start teaching that in the school? I don't want to get into the whole conversation about schools, but when is it okay to start teaching these sensitive topics in school? But teach all of it, not just the bad. And to me, that's been the problem with the public school system for a long time is we only teach the bad stuff that, frankly, that white people did historically. It can never be, but also. It's always they did bad. The Confederacy is what I'm referring to here. The Confederacy was all bad, nothing good, terrible, and if you support any aspect or anything like that, you're 100% supporting the bad too. And I just don't like that. Like, can we not teach the whole subject of the Civil War?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, I will say though, I mean, when you read, this was erected in 1907. So at the time, I'm assuming they probably did mean bring those things back. In my assumption, with the way they're writing this, and I don't disagree.
Then it did, but I think as time passed.
And this asshole in the comment said that if you're smart enough to understand what you read, okay, listen, mother effer. I'm plenty smart to understand what I read. But let me tell you something. There are a lot of things that maybe you don't understand. There are a lot of things that are being removed from history. And Shaun and I have this conversation all the time. There were Black men who did some great things who were being removed from history because we don't want to believe that could have ever happened before Reconstruction. Oh, God, don't get me fired up.
Yeah. So
there were lawyers, there were politicians, there were doctors.
I wish
thing that I think we've all said. I'm sorry, Shaun. Here's the thing that I think I've heard all of us say at some point in time or another. We got to quit looking through history and judging people in the past on today's standard.
Oh, 100%.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I totally agree with that.
We're judging everything on today's standard.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And these were men of their times. And I'm not saying that it's right. But these were men of their times. It was pre everything. I mean, you're just coming out of the damn dark ages, honestly, in 1907, 1908. I mean, you hadn't advanced far. Yeah, you got the wheel, you got fire, you got a little electricity, you got steam. You ain't got a whole hell of a lot in 1908 that the cavemen didn't have. You know what I'm saying? So it was very, very rigid and violent and rural, and these were men of their times, and you can respect the history and look at it through that lens as history and it being a representative of its time.
Yeah.
Again, if you keep hiding history, you're seeing it happen in live time. What happens when you pretend history didn't happen? I mean, look at all the the word anti-Semitic, we brought this up last night, but look at all the stuff that's going on now because we pretended things didn't happen, or people want to pretend things didn't happen. And now you're seeing all this anti-Semitic shit coming back to the top because I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm articulating it right because it's
I understand what you're saying.
But man, you keep pretending it didn't happen, and you're not teaching the full history of it. People start finding a path to repeating it unknowingly.
I think a lot of the issue is, yes, that's a big part of it. And I've always agreed with, like, you have to judge people at the time that this stuff happened,
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, these times, bad things were happening to people the way we look at it now. And I mean, I think that's a good thing that we don't have slavery, obviously, and that. But I do also take issue, and I think this is just a general problem. The whole nation is, our level of education about history. Like even in Mississippi, it's now we're not going to have that as part of the standardized test. Is that right, Lindsey?
I was absolutely against that too. In the Mississippi Department of Education, everyone should call and voice your concerns that they no longer want to test on history.
Right, exactly, and that's a mistake because there's a lot of aspects when we're looking at something like as complex as the Civil War, which it was complex. That I think people that are saying, okay, well, it's all about racism and slavery. Yes, there's a lot of that for sure, but there's other things too. There's another theory that the states believed that it was what's called a compact theory when they created the Constitution, and a lot of states believed that theory at that time. That's why they thought that basically that meant they could leave whenever they wanted to. There's a lot of different context to it that I don't understand. But one thing that I don't like is when I'll get in debates with people that it wasn't about slavery at all. And I'm like, that's completely not true. It was about slavery. And and you can't deny that part of history that it was. I mean, and here, like
that doesn't mean you can forget it though. Teach it and teach it wrong.
I mean, and people don't always look at this document, but I'll put it up real quick.
What did you just hold up, Clay?
So this is a book I bought at the Civil War relic show that they have in Brandon every year. And it's called, and I bought it from the author. He had a bunch of these books and he said this was like a good entry level one to try to understand. And I've only read the first chapter. I need to pick it back up apparently since it's going to be a hot topic, but it's titled, "It Wasn't About Slavery, Exposing the Great Lie of the Civil War." And I mean, this is a guy that his title is Commander of the Sons of the Confederate Veterans, Camp 1714. He's out of Monroe, Louisiana. And he's written a bunch of these books. Now, look, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't have even shown it if I hadn't read the damn thing yet. But
yeah, read the damn book, Clay.
Read it first, Clay. Come on
It's titled "It Wasn't About Slavery," and but I can read a quick little description on the back. But you go ahead and let me proofread this first.
Sure. Well, for the people that say it wasn't about slavery, let me just tell you what the folks that in Mississippi that succeeded, what they said it was about. This is from Mississippi's.
I believe it was about slavery, by the way.
I know you do. I know. There's a lot of people
believes it was about slavery.
Yeah,
but my goodness, that's okay. Teach it. Let's learn from the past and learn from the mistakes, but teach it. Don't forget. You can't whitewash it.
So a lot of people have this debate that it wasn't about slavery, and this is a Mississippi succession document, the document that they submitted that they were succeeding from the Union. And here it says, in the momentous step which our state has taken of dissolving its connection with the government of which we so long formed a part, it is but that we should declare the prominent reasons for which we have induced our course. Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. Its labor supplies a product which constitutes by far the largest and most important portions of commerce of the earth. These products are peculiar to the climate verging on the tropical regions, and by imperious law of nature, none but the black race can bear exposure to the tropical sun. I mean, that's in the first few sentences of it. And I think they believe them what they said. And that's what they said the reason was here in the first few sentences of the Mississippi document of succession. So I think that's important to understand as well, though.
But I don't think having a monument makes it seem as though you agree with slavery.
No, I'm not saying it does either. That's not I'm just saying that there, it's good to understand there are folks that are like, it's not about slavery. Well, they said it wasn't about slavery.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't this is this not a talking point for parents with their children and they can explain what happened back then? I just think this is a way to teach history.
Well, but this document's self-explanatory, wouldn't you think? Agree?
No, what do you mean?
The document's self-explanatory. None but the black race can bear exposure to the tropical sun. I think it's pretty clear what they were talking about.
But what does that have to do with what I just said?
No, I'm just saying, in terms of why they succeeded, Mississippi succeeded from the Union and the Civil War began, they're giving you the reason.
Do we all three agree that it was about slavery?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then let's move on to the next.
Does that mean that we should remove the statue? No.
I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying this is the reason that this happens.
And if you work for a school, don't get up there and pretend like you're speaking on behalf of the school. I'm sorry. I have a big problem with that. Okay,
yeah, I brought it up. I knew you would. Yes.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. I feel the same way. Well, I don't. I'm glad he got up there and did it. I just wish that people with a different opinion that doesn't lean left were also allowed the ability to get up there and speak freely without having to worry about losing their careers over it.
And I agree with you.
It's because of the way that we have painted the Civil War, that now it's turning into, there's Nazi relic collectors and relic hunters that like to collect stuff from World War II, from Nazi paraphernalia or whatever you want to call it. And it's wildly frowned upon, like Hitler's art and stuff like that. And it's like I say, it's wildly frowned upon to want to have any of this stuff, any of the Nazi pins or uniforms or just anything Nazi related. Some people just like to hold history, even the bad stuff. And I feel like we're approaching putting the Confederacy and anything Civil War related that isn't Union in that same category. And that is a very, very dangerous place to be. And it's a very dangerous thing to do to people, where you're basically telling them that if you don't 100% agree that this stuff is offensive and it shouldn't be burned and destroyed, that you're somehow co-signing on it. And I just don't think that's the kind of, I think if somebody wants to own a piece of Civil War history, they should be able to, without it being considered right up there with the Nazi stuff, which frankly, I don't have a problem with anybody that wants to own something that was Nazi related, as long as, it's different in owning a piece of historical artifact than it is saying, I got this, so when I decide to put on my uniform, I can be a Nazi. Am I making sense there? I think, co-signing on the history.
Just because you want to have a part of history doesn't mean that you are co-signing on what that history was about.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about the moving these statues, or if you say you support the statues staying, that doesn't mean you support what happened in the Civil War. It doesn't mean you support the fact that it was about slavery. It doesn't mean you support any of that. It just means you support not running from history and supporting history and wrapping your arms around history and learning from it. I don't have to like something to agree with it. There's a lot of crap in the Bible I don't agree with, but it doesn't mean I'm not a Christian.
Or it doesn't mean that you don't want to recognize that it's real and that it happened.
I mean, God destroyed entire cities to prove a point. in the Bible.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
God killed people in Sodom and Gomorrah, the Great Flood. I'm not for destroying, let's just say like New Orleans or Las Vegas. I'm not for destroying entire cities because there's sinners there. But I understand, but knowing that God has the ability to do that makes me want to act right. I'm going to do my part to make sure Brandon doesn't get destroyed by a ball of fire. So anyway, I know that's getting off in the deep end. I just support history. And you can preserve history without supporting what the cause was.
Absolutely. Somebody just said the monument is more than just a statue. It's a gravestone for all the Confederate dead buried in unmarked mass graves across the South. And I think that's a big part of it, too, that people have to understand that a lot of people lost their family members because they were soldiers. And, I think they should not just be forgotten just because you don't agree with whatever the history was at that time or whatever they were advocating for wasn't exactly what we do today. I mean, it was a different time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I'll even tack off that. The people that were in the German army, not everybody was a Nazi, by the way. You know what I mean? Everybody that just get conscripted into the German army during World War II. So, I mean, I don't think all of their lives, they weren't necessarily fighting to kill Jews. You know what I mean? Like, I know people don't like to think about that because we think of that time as like everybody's a Nazi. Well, that really wasn't true. I mean, a lot of people were Nazis in the high command and the Gestapo and those sorts of things. But the average German soldier wasn't sitting there. They didn't even know about Auschwitz or Dachau or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and that has a lot similar to Confederate.
This stuff was all going on. It was very segmented and fragmented, and people didn't have the internet and 24-hour news even to tell you what was going on over here in this other part of Germany or this other part of the South. German soldiers could have no clue what was going on at Auschwitz. That'd be like everybody in the military today knowing what's going on at Area 51, just because it's part of the military.
I really do want to know really badly what's going on. I want to get there, and I think they would kill me before I could get in there.
So I mean,
I desperately want to know.
I think that's a lot of wars. I think the average soldier, I think American soldiers and Marines and sailors know what's going on for the most part. But I think if you were part of the Taliban, you just were born there and indoctrinated into some crazy shit. You know what I mean? So not all of them know the whole context. I think a lot of the other countries, people are not informed exactly of what is going on in their respective wards. Like Russia, I mean, nobody knows what's going on because it's all propaganda, Russian state TV. So they don't know exactly what the real circumstances behind everything is. I mean, this happens all throughout human history. So the Confederacy was no different. I think the average person that went and fought for the Confederacy wasn't sitting there thinking, man, you know what? We're here to fight for some slavery. I mean, they didn't own any slaves. Those guys didn't. I mean, they were poor dudes. The rich people were not fighting, just like in any war we've ever had to the dawn of mankind. The rich people don't fight. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's, the poor people fight for the rich people's cause. That's just the crux of it all. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, this is clearly a very deep and passionate topic with a lot of people, and deservingly so. And it deserves to be handled respectfully. And I don't have a problem with people getting up there and preaching their opinion. I just wish that everybody else would have the right to do so without having to worry about losing their job. I firmly believe, and this goes back to the other comment I made about the woman that was a principal or whatever that got a picture of her posted at Target without her mask on back during COVID.
You're welcome.
If she had got up and spoken out against the mask mandates, she would have lost her job.
Absolutely. 1,000,000%.
But as long as she went along to get along and did whatever they said do.
By the way, to kind of, I mean, I was pretty harsh on her at that point in time, but to kind of apologize a little bit for that, I think she was against what they were doing, and she didn't have a voice because she was afraid she would lose her job. She retired shortly after.
Right. She did. And we probably handled that. I don't know that we handled it wrong. I don't know that I wouldn't do it again today, to be honest with you. But when you have the ability to stand up, you should be able to stand up. We have a First Amendment in this country. And as long as you're not getting up there and be blatantly racist and blatantly, calling for violence against somebody, I think you should be protected from losing your jobs, especially government jobs. I think you should be fully protected as a government employee from being fired for having a different opinion. Again, just being against the COVID vaccines or being against face masks or being against a statue being moved should not be fireable offenses.
I cannot
100%.
even tell you how many messages I have in my phone from teachers during that time who were terrified to speak out and who were so upset because they were forced to be vaccinated. And it broke my heart to know that our schools in Mississippi were making teachers feel that way. It was disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. We got anything else?
Well, we got the we haven't hit the Goon Squad story yet.
Let's
Clay, Brian Bailey, did he know what was going on or not? Yes or no?
I don't.
I just put you on the spot. Sorry.
I think to an extent. I don't know that he knew everything. I mean, I think you have layers of people in between. I don't know that he knew everything, but maybe he did. I don't know. I mean, my true, honest opinion is I don't think he knew everything to the extent. Like, I don't think he was an official Goon Squad member. No, I don't. I don't think that he was aware of everything they were doing. Was he aware that he had some guys living in the gray area and doing some shit they shouldn't? I would feel better saying that he knew versus he was complicit through ignorance. Like, I'd rather him just be complicit than ignorant.
I think it's very hard to believe when he stands or speaks out and says that I'm shocked that this was going on. I think that's a little outrageous.
What I've learned is when you're in the thick of doing dumb shit, you lose track of what's right and what's wrong. When you've been getting away with doing something for so long, it just seems like it's normal. But then when somebody who's not a part of what's going on sees it and calls you out on it and says it out loud, you're like, oh, that sounds terrible. You know what? Does that make sense? And when you're living in the thick of it all, you're just used to it. You're numb to it. And then sometimes it takes being called out for somebody and maybe repeating things you've said or things you've done out loud to you. And you're like, shit, that's bad. Let me separate myself from this a little bit. And I think that's part of what Brian has done. Because I think you got to know. You got five.
You got to know something.
You got 5 or 6 guys with this history of stuff. Well, of course he knew that it was going on. Maybe he chose not to believe it. No, I think that is a fine line there. Maybe he chose not to believe it. Maybe he was aware of it.
Oh, come on, Clay. Come on. Chose not to believe it? Come on. Nah.
What do you mean, no? I mean, you can choose. You can get the people call in and complain, and he can choose to not believe them. Because let's be honest.
Or he could choose not to listen.
Well, a lot of the people who were making the complaints were a lot of scumbags. Let's just be honest.
Well, I mean, yeah, let me speak to a little.
Not believe the scumbags because a lot of them are. They're always in. Everybody in jail right now didn't do it.
Yeah, a lot of times, and I think Lindsey's right and you're right. So, like I used that before, like it's. I think both of y'all are right, and I'll explain why. Yeah, having worked in law enforcement as long as I did, look, every defendants, like the cops mistreated me. I mean, it's a common thing, or the prosecutors fucked me over. They all say that, when they're in jail. Like, that's a common thing. I mean, I've been sued before when I was a prosecutor a few times, like just, complete bullshit stuff. This is a common thing. Yes. So that is true because these guys are, a lot of them are criminals, right? So they, that's who the police encounter and they make shit up. I mean, that is just true. On the other side of that, what Lindsey's saying, there were so many of these incidents where like even McAlpin had received 4 lawsuits against him before. I don't know the outcomes of those. This article I got up right now is from Mississippi Today, by the way, y'all. It's They Beat Me Like a Slave. And it's Jerry Mitchell's crew, Nate Rosenfeld and et al., whatever. I don't know. I couldn't read the other person's name there. But anyway, so, I think he obviously knew there was some things going on. Now, some he may have believed weren't legitimate, which is understandable because I can't tell you how many times I've not believed when I was on the other side of this doing prosecution, what the defendants were saying was legitimate or not. It may have been, but just because they say it, it's kind of like the boy that cried wolf. You know what I mean? Like they say it so much, you're like, okay, yeah, I mean, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? So that's an issue there too. Though I will extend this a little further, and Lindsey and I addressed this on the radio. There was that case with Bailey and Fred Shanks and the grand jury subpoenas. So there was some fuckery going on.
There was a lot of effing around.
Yeah,
without finding out.
And I explained that, Clay, to Lindsey earlier when we were on air. Like, when I was working in the DA's office, the thought of using a grand jury subpoena for personal business is just unheard of. That is not, that is not something I think, anybody that's, would work in the DA's office, like, I'm going to go just, subpoena my girlfriend's records. So that is disturbing.
You're married girlfriend.
Right. And when you couple that with this, it kind of leads you to the conclusion that there was, some stuff, obviously there was some stuff going on, but that he knew more than he's letting on, at least in my opinion.
Sure. I'm not saying that he didn't, but it was to the point when my point was, I could understand to an extent filing the shit away in the, yeah, sure, you're all guilty, you're all always innocent category to an extent. But you mentioned you make valid points about McAlpin having the lawsuits and all of the other stuff. Yeah. So, you got to separate what happened in that house with the people that shot that night versus the shit that had been happening for 20 years.
Well, y'all know you and Brian Bailey are besties, Clay. I'm joking. I'm just joking.
Well, and also, this is kind of your point, Clay. So in this article, which I thought they could have done a much better job, to be honest, especially when it related to the lawsuits against McAlpin, because I would have liked to know what the outcomes of those were. I mean, because sometimes somebody gets sued and it's bullshit. You know what I mean? You don't know. I got sued and it's bullshit. From a defendant, that I prosecuted years ago. So I'd like to have known that. It would have given better context to what it was. Law enforcement and prosecutors get sued all the time. That's not unheard of. So and just having, being involved in that, I understand that. So that's what I kind of took when I read it. The couple of the victims that they named in here, I got to be honest, ain't the most sympathetic guys in the world. One of them was running from the police and hit a motorist. I can't remember if he was on a motorcycle or what, and killed the guy. So when they pulled him over, they beat the shit out of him. Well, you know what? You kill somebody when you're fleeing the police from, I think it was like an armed robbery or something too.
And let me guess, this is the guy who said they got the quote, "They beat me like a slave" from?
I don't know which one.
I haven't read it yet.
It was one of them.
That's the guy.
I don't know which one it was.
It was one of the two that were in, but both of those in the article, they both probably deserve what they got. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they picked some bad victims in this one, Clay. Like the other article that we talked about.
This wasn't a Jerry Mitchell article.
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly. Like a year and a half ago, the ones when we talked about on air, all those list of victims. Yeah, were those guys on the shady side of life, dopers? I get it. Didn't mean they deserved what they got. They weren't. None of them were violent people, or they were just, there were some of them meth heads, some of them were, pill heads, whatever. And they got.
I got to use the restroom. Y'all go ahead. My bladder's about to explode.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, some of them were, if y'all remember, Jerry Mitchell wrote an article that was in the New York Times and Mississippi Today back in, I think, November of 2023 was when I think. And it listed all these victims of the Goon Squad that were not Jenkins and Parker, the two black men that were in the house that the whole thing started from.
Right.
And it was a list of guys over the years, and they were all, there was a lot of drug problems, these sorts of things with them, lived on the, shady side of life, and they were abused and tortured by the Goon Squad. One of the ones I remember in particular was they'd taken a nutcracker, crack a nut with.
Because when I saw Nutcracker, I immediately thought of like a Christmas decoration.
That's what I thought too. I'm not going to lie. I was like, did they melt a Christmas nutcracker?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I thought too.
That's honestly what I was thinking.
I've never owned a nut. I don't eat, I've just never owned a nutcracker.
I don't know anybody that has one of those things.
But so they melted it to one guy's thigh, and then Deadman humped another one. I mean, it was just like, Deadman was really weird, by the way.
Yeah, there was some weird sexual things that happened. Yep. And, a lot of people want to claim that this is a civil rights issue. And I get it. Everybody has civil rights. But when they say it, it almost seems like they are saying these things only happen to black men. That's not true. It was black men, white men, and it's been going on for years.
Yeah, but your civil rights, like they've sued them for civil rights. Everybody's got civil rights.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I said everybody has civil rights, but when some of the headlines make you want to believe that this was a white officer on black.
No, they were equal opportunity fuckers. They went after everybody.
But that's what I'm saying.
But they did, when they were specifically attacking black people, they kept using racial terms. So that's
what's being said, and that was said in the article today.
Mm-hmm.
But like we talked about on the show today, these two guys that they kind of highlighted in this article that came out today. This was not a Jerry Mitchell article. It was some other.
It was part of his team, yeah.
Part of his team, but these guys were the ones who you kind of won't feel sorry for if they get kind of if they get.
I agree with that.
What's coming to them, you don't really, you've always said that y'all had a term for people who got offed, but they deserved it.
Public improvement killings.
Community improvement.
Or community, we had that one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of that.
I almost feel like that's what this was. These two guys were kind of like community improvement beatings.
Yeah. And what Lindsey's talking about. So there was one guy, and I don't remember which one, but he was fleeing from the police, and then he hit somebody during the pursuit
on a motorcycle
and killed the person, and then he got pulled over and they beat his ass. Yeah, well, you kind of get what you get in that situation.
Was like an armed robbery.
The other guy was like fleeing from an armed robbery. I mean, just armed rob people, and then he's complaining, I got beat. Well, you just armed rob somebody.
He probably deserved it.
So they're not the victims I probably would have picked for this article if it were me.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were other tidbits in here that were interesting. I just thought those things were they were not sympathetic.
The most interesting part was the man who was promoted,
Deputy Hunter Cook.
He was promoted, and then when this investigation went underway on the Goon Squad, he was forced to resign.
He's the guy that tased somebody in his face, right?
Yes, yeah. And so it's like, well, was he not a part of the Goon Squad, and why is he not involved in any of the Goon Squad proceedings?
Yeah, he was suspended for 2 weeks and then reassigned to another unit. And then I think they promoted him after that. And then when the Goon Squad thing broke, they had to force him to resign. Is that right?
Yes.
I think they did.
Yes,
so, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, there's just, it's kind of like, when somebody gets investigated, all this stuff comes out, right? Stuff that's not related to even the case. I mean, I know some of this stuff is. And what I mean by that is, what is normal in any law enforcement department, which people making complaints against cops or prosecutors now looks magnified. It's like everything has got to be wrong, which is probably, the truth is somewhere in the middle, like it always is. And I think that's kind of where you have to kind of pick this apart and see, so there's a lot of people I'm sure that have complained against the Rankin County Sheriff's Department that are completely fucking lying. I got no doubt about that are lying about it, that they were not beat. And that's because that happens in every department.
Yeah, and what this has done is it's brought a bunch of the crazies out.
Yeah,
to use it as an excuse. My guy Justin Fowler being one of them.
I thought we weren't talking about him anymore.
Well, this topic it's relevant. He's one that is convinced that he was a victim of the Goon Squad, or he was trying to perpetrate that he was a victim of the Goon Squad, and that anything that he possibly got in trouble for was a lie because Christian Deadman was a part of it or had it out for him. He's convinced he was on a list of Christian Deadmans. No.
I mean,
there's got to be a lot of drugs.
There are some really crazy people out there, and that's what I'm talking about, Clay. I mean, so
allegedly.
Yes, was there some stuff going on in this department? Absolutely. That's undeniable. I think. I mean,
could the sheriff have not known about it? I don't think so. I think he.
Yeah, I'm with Lindsey on that. I think he did. Whether that equates to it was with his approval, or he just kind of turned a blind eye.
I think he probably turned a blind eye.
Yeah, and that makes he's just like, well, whatever they got to do, get the job done, kind of thing. I could see that too.
But on the other hand, was it safer?
Well, Rankin County is a pretty safe place. No.
And I'm absolutely not saying that I agree with anything the Goon Squad did. I think it's horrendous.
No, I mean, because, it's all fun and fine and dandy until they come for you, or somebody, and then it's like, oh, wait a second.
Or they take your nutcracker to you.
Then they put or Christian Deadman humps you. Right. That's a problem.
Or gets a sexual toy.
Yeah, I think it's good that these guys are gone. I think that's a great thing. And I hate that it's a black mark on law enforcement in Rankin County, because that's really unfair for everybody, because that's not true.
And it makes everyone unsafe.
Yeah. And that's, and that's what they did. They caused that kind of thing. But that's I think Clay, we were talking about this earlier. Jerry Mitchell and the crew, I don't think they're done with this though. I mean, it's they keep going, hitting article after article. So I guess this is not going to be over for a while, the way I'm looking at it.
No, it's going to be going on for a while, and we'll see what comes from it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that it's sad that after all this has happened, and look, Clay's going to disagree with me here, and that's okay, because we disagree a lot of the time. But I do think it's sad that when things like this happen, you have a supervisor stand up in a meeting and say something like he said, like Steve Gaines said.
Yeah, that was stupid. that was pretty dumb.
I think that was bad.
That's something you say it in private, man. Come on, like not on a microphone.
It just made it look as though the county supported that conduct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wasn't. That's not what they need. That's not what they need. I could just feel like Brian Bailey sitting there like, shut the fuck up. Like I was saying it.
With a dip in his mouth, like,
Yeah, it's like, God bless, dude. Come on. think about what you're doing. So that, I mean,
well, like I've said about that, obviously I don't think he should have said it, but what he was trying to do was in I think context matters. And regardless of how stupid the comments are, I still think context matters. And what he was trying to do, and what he failed miserably at, was he thought he was trying to rally the troops, and he thought he was in a friendly environment where he could rally the troops, and he was trying to get the people who were pissed off at Rankin County Board of Supervisors over the mobile home ordinance. And it was about way more than just mobile homes, but that's what people are referring to it as, just for a blanket statement here. And he thought, he's like, well, let them know that we're really on their side, and hey, let's rally the troops, let them know that we did a good job, and things aren't as bad as they seem, and all that.
We're gonna keep those kids across the river out of here. No.
Well, I mean, look, I ain't got a problem keeping a bunch of thugs from Jackson out of Rankin County. I mean, just honestly, I don't know.
We'll have to have that conversation another night.
I mean, is that wrong to want to keep people who are coming over here to commit crimes out of here?
Come on, Clay.
I don't know if that's what he said, though, Clay. I mean, he just specifically said that.
I'm listening to what y'all said, that he said keep the people from the other side of the river out of here.
Yeah, everybody on the other side of the river is wanting to bring a thug environment and crime into the camp. No.
I don't think he meant everybody. I think he meant the criminals.
But that's not what he said. So you have to, when you're an elected official, you got to be careful with your words, especially when you're speaking to a group of people. His racism showed.
I think I'm trying to pull exactly what he said. There was just one portion I got Jason Dare beat the pants off those guys, the dopers, the people that raped and doped your daughter.
By the way,
nobody raped anybody.
Nobody raped anybody.
That night.
Well, I mean, maybe the what was his name? McAlpin? Was he the one that raped? Devin? Which one raped people? Which one liked to use the sex?
I don't know if Devin raped. I know he humped people. I don't know if he actually raped people. I mean, he's a weirdo, but I don't know. Maybe he raped. I thought he just humped people on the side of the road.
Well, no, I was making a joke because I'm saying, like, if you're saying you're but I mean, I just feel like you got to be really careful especially when you've been already in a situation in a county that's gone through something like the Goon Squad to make these kind of comments that are just very irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the gist of this, and we can move on, is that, like, he just should have shut the fuck up. I mean, that's just it, right? That would have been better. Just shut the fuck up. And even if you feel that way, you don't need to say that. And, it would have been better. I don't think anybody's like, man, I'm glad he said that.
Well, I mean, I just heard from someone that the actual quote from someone who was there is that those guys are raping our daughters.
Mm-hmm. Right.
No, those two guys that the settlement happened over didn't rape anybody's daughters.
Yeah, no, right. They didn't. Yeah, that's true.
Unless there's something I don't know about.
I don't know. That's just the information I know. There wasn't any rape. Maybe there was that we don't know about, but not, just what's publicly available. So,
yeah.
But I mean, if they're dead set on moving the statue, I mean, I'm just saying.
You go back to the statue. You're like, safe ground.
I just really think. I mean, it might be a good place for it. Steve Gaines would love it.
Steve Gaines' yard, right?
I'm joking.
Well, I mean, when you say stuff like that, it's I don't want the statue shouldn't be moved, but then it's move it to Steve Gaines' yard.
That was a joke. I don't believe the statue should be moved whatsoever.
So, I mean, it's just I get it. Y'all don't like Steve Gaines. I mean, and I don't know him personally. I've never met him. I just say, I'm friends with his daughter.
And she jumped in there too. She jumped in there too.
Me not speaking out about somebody. I just don't have the visceral problem with what he said. I don't agree with it, but it's just typical dumb shit that people say. I just think that he was trying to, in his mind, he was trying to rally the troops. I don't think he meant what he said. It got
under my skin. It got under my skin big time.
I just think he said some dumb shit, and probably wishes he hadn't said it, and it fell flat, and did not go the way he planned on it going. But I don't think it did. I don't think it was this coordinated attack on everybody. I don't think it was intended to go the way it did. I don't know. I give people a lot of rope on saying dumb shit, and
so they can hang themselves.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. Shit don't bother me like that. It just doesn't.
Yeah, Clay, but I mean, how much do our words matter when we say things that people turn against us on, and it's everywhere? You got to be careful with your words when you're public.
That's why it doesn't bother me.
You got to be careful what you say, especially when you're an elected representative. You just got to be more careful with your words.
I just saying, I give people the benefit of the doubt, even if they say dumb shit, because I say a lot of crazy shit. And
you don't give those kids across the river the benefit of the doubt. You automatically think they're the thugs. The kids across the river, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt too.
I don't give criminals the benefit of the doubt. I don't. I mean, I look at the numbers and I see what comes over here and breaks the law, and I'm like, all right, there's people coming over here,
but what
and trying to shoot cops and all kind of shit. Yeah, that's people. The guy that got himself killed over there in Flowwood was from Jackson and came over here. They were doing some robbing and stealing, drug dealing, and all kind of other dumb shit. And then he tried to shoot it, he shot a cop. And the cop just so happened to have a bulletproof vest on. And that kid was from Jackson.
What if we implemented something like school choice and we could take a child before they become a part of this drug life and change the narrative?
I'm not going to discuss it again. When you're not going to change my mind on it. And
one day we need to have like a real debate, like a real one.
You're never gonna change. There's no debating it. It's just I don't think it's good. I think that the exact thing that I'm sitting here saying is people moved away from Jackson to get away from fucking criminals, and so their kids can go to good schools with kids that actually want to learn. And
you don't think there's any kids in Jackson that want to learn?
Are we going into school choice? Please, God.
No, we can't do that.
We don't have time for that.
It's too late for that.
I mean, it is. Yeah. I mean, we can tomorrow. Or Sunday night. We can school choice it the fuck up. Whatever y'all want to do. I mean,
I don't. We can never discuss it again. There was no reason to bring it up tonight.
But
that was the comment made though. That was.
Yeah. Like it always, it's like everything reverts back to school choice.
I think Steve Gaines' comment had nothing to do with school choice.
I know, but for Lindsey, everything we could be talking about like, where do you want to go to dinner? Like, well, if we had school choice, I'm like, what? Like, well, I mean, that's what I'm like, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm passionate about issues I care about.
It's like I get it.
I care about kids.
But it all goes back to that's like the base level school choice. So. Well, let's wait till next session to debate that. How about that? It won't be.
Yeah, let's hang that up until at least January.
Yeah, wait till we'll go do some we'll wait till the next session. So that'll be fine.
But Clay's really mad at me right now.
No, I'm reading the comment. It's like a Breacher here said. Do you have to be careful with your words, or do people just not need to be so sensitive? And I lean towards people not being so sensitive.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think people need to grow up in terms of their sensitivity levels. I think Steve Gaines' comments are a little different than that, though. I don't think that's, that's a little more than insensitive. That's just fucked up. I mean, it is what it is. It just, we're going to call a spade on that one.
Well, I think there's two layers to what he said. There's the dumb shit that he said about the guys that had just won the lawsuit. I think he should have. He was trying to rally the troops, saying that Rankin County got the better of that. They were trying to get $100 million, whatever, and they only got X amount. And then I don't think he was wrong about that. But then he said the dumb shit about the daughter raping the daughters and doping the daughters and whatever else. Shouldn't have said that. And as far as not wanting trash from the other side of the river or criminals from the other side of the river coming over, I ain't got a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't read the quote. I'm just going by what y'all said. I've heard the generalities of it, and about what he said about the. I'm familiar with the quote about the guys that with the lawsuit, and he was partially wrong about that. I do think that the county half-assed did a good job of mitigating its losses there. As far as the then making the slanderous comments about them, I think that was fucking stupid. And it's just, you opened yourselves right back up to more lawsuits, which he got lucky. That's not going to be the case. It is what it is. They signed a deal where they can't sue again for anything related to this, even Steve Gaines saying dumb shit. So it kind of is what it is. And then as far as not wanting criminals from the deadliest city in America coming over and doing criminal shit, I don't even understand why that's.
Nothing was said about criminals.
Well, I think it's obviously talking about criminals. Good God-fearing non-criminals are obviously welcome to come over and spend money, eat, drink, play, have a good time, shop.
But that's not what he said. Yeah, that's not what he said. That's not what was said.
Well, are you saying that's not what was said, or is that not what was intended?
Oh, you would say what you mean and mean what you say. Like you and I just said that earlier.
He just said we don't want black people coming over here. That's what it's insinuating.
No. I said I quoted what he said. By the way,
we don't want criminals coming over here from.
It did not say that's not what he said.
Okay, I've got the quote. I pulled it. Here it is. All right. It says Supervisor Steve Gaines also made pointed comment referencing crossing the river in quotes directed at black families from Hinds County. How do you feel about paying the taxes that you pay and people from across the river coming over here and putting their kids in school? He told the nearly all white crowd, referring to the Pearl River that separates Hinds County and Rankin County. Straw
man argument. He didn't say black, and he didn't say black people from across the river.
No, not specifically. He just said, how do you feel about people coming across the river? I think the implication was that, though. But he didn't write it.
That's always the implication with the Mississippi Today.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, there were lots of people there that felt that was the implication.
But I mean, what else? Who else would he be? I think he didn't say black, but I think that's obvious. What's what he meant.
But he didn't say that. That's what I'm saying.
He didn't say it.
But he was also talking about education at that time. Like that's when those comments came into play, was when he was talking about education.
Mm-hmm.
But people from Rankin County don't want people from Jackson coming over here and going to their schools. I mean, I'm just telling y'all that race be damned. People over here don't want people from over there coming to school over here unless they move over here and do it the right way. That's not an
option for everybody, Clay. It's not an option for everybody.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Then make it an option. Make sacrifices, tighten your belt, and make it an option. I mean, it sucks. Life sucks.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
All right.
People get some bad circumstances that happen to them, but everybody is not in the same situation. That doesn't mean their children deserve to suffer for it. I'm sorry.
I thought we weren't going into school choice, guys. I just gave you Steve Gaines' quote.
All kids deserve the option. All kids should have the option.
That's for another day. But I'm just saying, this was the quote. Take from it what you will. I mean, I think that's the quote. I read it. It's he didn't specifically say black people. In my opinion, that was the implication. But he didn't specifically say that. But that's the quote.
But love you anyway, Clay.
Yep. All right, we've reached 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah. We'll see y'all. Well, actually, I won't see y'all tomorrow. I'll see y'all unless I see you at the radio station. If not, I'll see y'all Sunday night.
Awesome.
Are you doing the show in the morning?
Yes, I will be there in the morning. My eyes open.
Eyes open. I'm kind of
1 eye, 1 ear, right?
Yep, 1 eye, 1 ear.
Well, we'll be listening to Clay at 7 a.m, and you can tune into us at 12 p.m. Where Lindsay's free to talk about school choice the whole freaking show if she wants to.
And
I'll just sit there and be like, oh, yes, okay,
And we'll be back here on Sunday.
We'll be back here Sunday night, y'all. We really appreciate you guys tuning in all week and listening to this. We had a lot of fun. And we've gone longer every single night. So it just it turns into things we're supposed to talk about turn into school choice, or whatever. So
school choice is the internet, is the Lindsay version of everything turning into about Nazis.
Yeah, it's Lindsay's law. Oh my God, that's Lindsay's God's law.
That's how you get Clay and at each other's throats real quick. Like
he's like, look at this Jackson shootout. If we had school choice, there wouldn't be any like that's
it's
everything.
So true.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm getting the last word here.
You don't get to the last word.
That is why people don't want kids from Jackson coming to school over here in Rankin County. Love y'all.
See ya. Bye.
Peace out.